Hey, hi, hey, hi. One second. Hey, hi, pigeon. Hey, hi. I also had soup. I had chicken and vegetable soup, and then we put our homemade pika in it. Like we have, I don't know, I don't know what you call it. There isn't really a thing for PK in America. It's PK translates to hot sauce, but that's not really what it is. I mean, it's not hot sauce. Um, it's just a thing. We had some empty bottles, like the old timey milk bottles, like the big ones. Like they're like liter size, and you put some oil in it, you put some water in it, you put some vinegar in it, you put some, various herbs, spices, vegetables, some onion, some cilantro, some culantro, you know, peppers, jalapenos, uh, black pepper. I don't know. I don't know what you call that. You just throw a bunch of shit into a bottle and you let it sit in a dark corner for months and months, and it just like becomes a thing, like its own liquid, and it's spicy, and you put it in soup. I don't know what to tell you. Nori potion, literally. Hi, Marianne. Hi. Soup good? Soup is good. I don't. What? I'm gonna Google this. Let me see if I can find an image. It's like this. Uh. Save image. Streaming stuff. Random things I downloaded. Here. Can I can I can I open this? This image source maybe? Create new. Browse. Random images I downloaded. Where did it go? It's not here. Here it is. Can you see that? No, it does not look like that's a usable file type. Okay. Let me open image in new tab. Save it that way. Why is this trying to download as an AVIF file? What the fuck is an AVIF file? Did that actually work? I literally just saved it as a JPEG and just like called it a JPEG. I don't think that's a thing. Is it? Oh, it literally saved it. I saved it as all formats and then just typed JPEG and it worked. Did it show up? It's not showing up. Why is it not showing up? Oh my god, I'm gonna murder someone. I need to express this. Image. Browse. This. I'm going insane. I'm going insane. You know what? Can I window capture fucking Google Photos? Maybe I can do that. Window capture. Create new, select window, photos.exe. There you go. It's this. You just put a bunch of shit in a bottle, and it will eventually, after several months, just kind of like meld into a flavor. And that flavor is pica. It's like, and then you put this in soups, and this one has garlic, it has bell peppers, it has culantro, I think this is. It's got black pepper. You can see this black peppercorns. There's some chile peppers. What else? There's cilantro here. I think this is culantro. I don't know, but it's this. It's this. You just put a bunch of shit in a bottle, and it makes a tasty, spicy flavored liquid to put into soups. That's what it is. I don't know how else to describe it. It's funny because I'm noticing that as I Google it, I Googled homemade pique. It's a Puerto Rican thing. It's only a Puerto Rican thing. So it's not like a hot sauce and more like a vinegar. It's like if you took a vinaigrette, instead of making it like super vinegar based, you made it hot sauce. I don't know how else to put it. It's like a hot sauce, and it's like the love child between a hot sauce and a vinaigrette. I mean, you can you can kind of make it super vinegary if you want. Then it turns kind of Tabasco-y, right? Because Tabasco is vinegar based. But if you just Google piquant like this, like homemade piquant, like you will find images of it. Like, I don't know how else to put it. That's literally, I type in homemade piquant, and that was what came up. Granted, I assume they know Google knows I'm Puerto Rican at this point. But, like, it's what comes up is everything. Like, okay, no, that's a dish, though. I don't know. It's very interesting. I didn't realize this was only an us thing, and not an all Hispanic culture thing. I just kind of assumed that it was all Hispanic people did this, but I guess not. But you just have a bottle going. We have a bottle that's been sitting there for months, and it's super good. It's super tasty. I made tea today because I'm going to be doing a lot of speaking. I have friends and cousins from Puerto Rico. I'll have to ask them. Yeah, please do. If you ask them about piquant, they'll know what you're talking about. And they will recommend whatever their recipe is. I'm sure that if they have family there, I'm sure that there's a family recipe, or maybe they just do it like we do and throw shit in there. And whatever you have on hand is what winds up in there, and that's fine. Like, I don't know. We just kind of wing it. Oh, it's super good though. At least the ones that we made this most recent batch, it has been super good. In fact, I think in this most recent batch we put balsamic vinegar in it, and so it has this like weird tang to it. I think that's what gives it the weird tang. I'm pretty sure. I'll be fine though. If you're worried about me consuming random liquids that have been sitting in a bottle for months on end without anyone touching it, please don't be. Because I'm saying it out loud, and I'm recognizing that some people might think I'm drinking, like, literal poison that's gone bad. That's especially since it has fresh foods in it, right? Like produce. But it doesn't go bad. It doesn't go bad. It's not something that just, like, goes bad. Because it has so much, like, oil and vinegar in it that, like, preserves it. People eat sauerkraut, you're fine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think some people, at least some people that I know, because I live in the widest Midwest areas, people assume that if something's, sitting out for, I don't know, an hour, it's like poison. It's very funny. Pigeon, I'm sure you're familiar. You're also from the Midwest, I know, and I'm sure that you you understand. Get so many looks, yeah. It's definitely a thing. I don't know. I'm laughing at myself thinking about people who who are like, you can't eat that. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Why don't you just... Okay, alright, Pigeon, alright. That's a little too real. Oh, Lordy. I know plenty of people who are like that. Plenty of people who are like that. And I'm like, yup. You're more than welcome. Oh, Lordy. I got auto-modded. Here, let me go to live chat. Oh, you got, like, actually auto-modded. It's not even in live chat. It's, like, literally deleted. Okay. But I hope you all are doing well. I hope your days have been well. My day has been pretty good. Yeah. Yep. There is a bunch of snow on the ground outside, and it's certainly a thing. But today has been pretty chill. I'm grateful I work from home, and so, it's been alright. Thankfully, there's plenty of food left over from Thanksgiving and the weekend. So, today we are playing Across the Grooves. Hopefully we'll finish it. I think we're about halfway through the game. It looked like there were 6 chapters, and we are just finished chapter 3. And then on Thursday, we got more Silksong. What's the plan for the week? I need to check something real quick. Before I forget. Man, I don't know. Okay. Well, I'll leave it. Whatever. Alright. Never mind. Let's play some video game. Please let me know how volumes are. This game is very music heavy. and music is very central to it. And music is very good. Oh, Pigeon, seeing you here reminds me. I bought Outer Wilds today. I have already played Outer Wilds, but I've never played the DLC. So, how long is the DLC? How long is Echoes of the Eye? 10.5, 12 hours-ish? 10 to 15 hours? Okay, that's a Tuesday game for sure. So, after this, I'll probably put up a poll in Discord about the next Tuesday game. If I don't put up a poll after stream, someone please at me. At me every day until I put one up. That way I don't forget again. And we'll see. I don't know what else is going to be on the thing. I know we need to play a Halo game, Metal Gear, and Metal Gear 2, and Metal Gear Solid. I don't know how long the original games are, or if I should even be playing them. Like the Pixel ones. Maybe. And then Control and the other visual novels. There's a few. They'll all go on the poll. Okay. Let's play a game. Can I play this game with my controller? Yes. Let me put my wrist brace on. One moment. I'll lurk for a bit. Hell yeah. Enjoy the lurk, Pigeon. I appreciate you stopping by, and I appreciate you chatting with me about food. And I appreciate you as a bird. You're wonderful. I hope you get plenty of things done. We are heading to Glasgow. For those who need a recap, we got a record in the mail from our ex from 3 years ago. We hadn't heard from him in 3 years, and we just got this like blank record. Excuse me. And so we played it, and in doing so, changed our life. We no longer were dating our current boyfriend. Our ex was missing. We have no idea where to find him, so we were trying to track him down to get answers, to get our life back on track. Again, this game is based originally in France. We were from the... where are we from originally? Burgundy or something like that? I don't remember. Some region in western France. We went to Paris to try and track him down. He was not there. But the people there pointed us in the direction of London, and he was not there. So now we were on our way to Scotland to try and track him down. And what we do know about him, what we have learned, is that the record was made in like Tennessee by a dead guy. It was like some guitarist made a deal with the devil to learn how to play guitar, and he died. And then like his like zombie self showed up at a record company to like record one final track, and then in the recording booth there was like fire and brimstone, and the person who was doing like the sound booth like went batshit insane, And the record is what that we got sent was what was produced. That's what we know about it. So everyone who listens to it has their life irrevocably changed for the worse. Like we heard, what's his name? Um, Patricia's uncle had his like wife and child die in a car accident because he listened to the record. Things like that. But now we are on our way to Scotland, trying to dodge. Oh, and like a secret organization is trying to murder us for the record to gain possession of it. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're going to Scotland, Glasgow, Ireland. I don't remember. So search for the guy or X. Only once the train is a good distance out of London do I finally begin to relax. As I had feared, Eva had been watching the comings and goings at the station. I saw her as I was going to the platform, but I was inconspicuous enough to pass next to her without being recognized. I'm almost certain that I managed to get on the train without her seeing me. I'm sure she wasn't alone. If one of her collaborators spotted me, then she knows my destination. To be on the safe side, I think it best to assume it's only a matter of time before she follows me to Glasgow. Eva is the lady who's like part of the evil organization trying to murder us for the record. They also stole all of our like suitcase and stuff. Okay, you finish. I try to organize my thoughts. My present situation is pretty awkward. Oh, we also had a random guy, his name is Eddie Black, who was like stalking us in an effort to find the record. Everyone who like we met who knew him told us that he was like a super nice guy, but he was also stalking us, so fuck him. The trail that Ulysses, that's the boyfriend, has left isn't easy to follow, and it seems to be petering out as I press on. Then again, if he was being pursued by Eva's organization too, I can understand he would have tried to keep as low profile as possible. For the time being, all I've been able to scrape together are rumors and various contradictory stories. Feels like I have more and more questions and no answers. I clutch my handbag with the record inside against myself and close my eyes, hoping to sleep a little. After visiting two capitals, finding myself in a more moderately sized city like Glasgow is a breath of fresh air. Central Station is right in the town centre, which I cross on foot, frequently stopping to ask passersby for direction. After a bit of wandering through Glasshouse pedestrian streets, my steps bring me to an old building. I enter the ground floor to find a small room full of mismatched furniture. A log fire blazing in the fireplace gives off a pleasant warmth. A long counter stretches the width of the room at the end. A Mediterranean-looking man seems to be absorbed in carefully preparing a basket of fresh vegetables. Probably the famous Yorgos. The rest of the place is almost deserted. Considering the time, it must be the period of quiet between the lunch and evening services. As I approach him, the man looks up and welcomes me with a wide smile before gabbling something in broken English with a curious mix of Greek and Scottish accents. Taken by my surprise, I try and bonjour. Yorgos replies in French with a strong Greek accent. Oh, bonjour then. You are French? Yes. Tell me, what can I do for you? I'm looking for someone. Ulysses. He would have been here about 2 weeks ago. Ulysses? Yes, I remember him. My old pal Alan sent him to me. I know, it's Alan who told me he'd probably drop by to see you when he arrived in Glasgow. I remember him well. He was just passing through. Yorgos wipes his hands on his apron and holds the right one out over the counter. Door goes. I shake it. Alice, nice to meet you. So tell me, Alice, what do you want to know? Do you know what he was doing here? Do you know where he went what? Do you know what he was doing here? As I said, he was passing through. He asked me where he could lodge sheep. Is that all he said? We chatted for a while. He tells me he's the record store owner, like Alan is looking for information about a rare record. Nothing more precise? The steady clacking of the knife on the chopping board stops for a moment as Yorgos tries to recall the details. He talked about meeting an old radio presenter, Arthur something. Pullman? No, Pullman. Arthur Pullman. Do you think he might possibly work for a local radio station? You know, we mostly get the national radio stations here. Are there any independent radio stations in Glasgow? No, not as far as I know, but I'm no expert. The student radio, Subcity, they broadcast from the campus, but only at certain times. They do a great mix in the evenings. Play it often here in the restaurant. No commercials, just a reminder of the name of the station from time to time. Go there, maybe they can tell you more? All I can tell you is that your Ulysses said nothing to me about that. What exactly did he say? He was passing through Glasgow, like I told you. He was looking for somewhere steep to say. When I asked him what he was doing in Scotland, he tells me I'm researching a rare record. When I question him, he clammed up. He just talked about meeting an old radio presenter from the BBC, I think. Arthur Pullman. Right. Here, try this. Without warning, Yorgos puts a plate in front of me. Bro's just like, here, have food. This is a beautifully served mix of vegetables. Saying the question to my face, he ends, I'm not going to let a friend of Alan leave without trying my cooking. Based. No, thanks. Well, and I must admit, it's delicious. I share my enthusiasm with him. Really? It's not on the menu yet. I've been trying for weeks to find a good calorie balance for the bitterness of the horseradish. Yours leaves me to enjoy my food with giving you a little time for reflection. On the one hand, I've got the start of a lead with this radio station. On the other hand, Ulysses has stressed that Ulysses was just passing through Glasgow. At least I have a name now, Arthur Pullman. Nothing tells me that he lives here. And I can't imagine a former BBC presenter broadcasting on a student radio station. Fortunately, I can't really think what else to do except cling to the hope that someone there will know where to find this Arthur Pullman. Unless, if I can't find a solution in the present, perhaps by revisiting the past, I instinctively slip a hand in my bag to reassure myself that the record is still there. The trouble is that I still don't know how to use it. I don't want to find myself stuck in a reality where I've lost someone dear to me, like Enzo. Enzo is Patrizia's uncle that lost his wife and daughter. Then again, I'm in an alternate reality already. My normal life, the future I'd believed was all mapped out. All of it has been erased. But do I truly want to go back to that life? Oh, that's interesting. This is the first time that she's expressed that she doesn't want to go back to that life, that she's content living in this timeline. Chat with Yorgos as I finish my plate. He tells me that he met Alan in Paris when he was a student. We had a waiter in the restaurant where Yorgos worked. Yorgos makes me a coffee, and then it's time to say goodbye. It's completely out of the question that I pay anything. Face. I love this guy. This guy's a homeboy. I thank him warmly for his hospitality, and then I try to decide between asking for directions to the university, or asking where I can find a record player to listen to the record. I ask orders for directions to the premises of the campus radio. And I step out in the pleasant warmth of the fireplace and to brave the chilly Scottish drizzle. The route that Yorgos suggested goes through the Kelvin Grove Park, which I cross beneath the Scottish drizzle. It takes me half an hour of walking to reach the University of Glasgow, a long Gothic-style building. After asking for the way at reception and having wandered for a while on the campus, according to the various contradictory directions of students who crossed my path, I finally arrive at the little prefabricated building which supposedly houses Subcity Radio. The roof, which is laden with antennae, seems to confirm that I'm in the right place. I go in, then climb 2 floors before finding myself in the antechamber separating the corridor from the studio. The illuminated on-air sign is switched off, so I knock on the door. When there's no answer, I try the door handle, which turns. The studio is empty, except for a student who can't be more than 20 years old. He's wearing a threadbare Pink Floyd Division Bell's Epoch t-shirt and a pair of bulky headphones that hang around his neck. He stops taking notes, sat at a large table which must be used for the broadcast, and greets me. Oh, hello, I'm DJ Saturn. I'm preparing my mix for the evening. We shake hands and I sit down opposite him. Alice. What can I do for you, Alice? Are you a teaching assistant? Would you be interested in getting involved in the campus radio? I better warn you, I don't do French. I mean astrophysics. Let's ask if he knows Arthur Pullman. Well, in fact, I'm looking for a former radio presenter, Arthur Pullman. Have you heard of him? Have I heard of Arthur Pullman? Are you kidding? The guy's a legend. He had a late-night show on the BBC in the early 90s. He had some killer lineups. Thanks to him, loads of forgotten 60 bands got rediscovered. You can still get bootleg cassette tapes of his show. Then there were the live recordings. No one ever knew where he got them from, but he had an amazing collection of really excellent quality pirate recordings. He played them in his mixes sometimes, especially the proto-metal, Led Zepp, Uriah Heep, Black Sabbath. I think my friend Ulysses wanted to meet him. Do you know if he lives in Glasgow? Young man shrugs. Honestly, no, I don't think so. If he lived in the same city as me, I think I'd know. In any case, what's for sure is that he's not for broadcasting anymore. And he must be pretty old. If he's not dead, he most probably retired. I stand up, trying to conceal my dismay. It's the end of the trail. I've got no idea where to find this Arthur Pullman. Got no idea where Ulysses could have gone next. My last hope is to dig into the past, trusting I'll learn where to find this Arthur Pullman. All trying, if I can, not to return to a reality that's too different. Turn to DJ Saturn, who has also stood up. Are you alright, Alice? Yes, I'm fine. Tell me, do you know where I could listen to a vinyl record? We're all digital here in the station. I've got a record player at my digs, though. Go for it. I got a few tapes of a Pullman show. We can listen to one if you want, but only if you let me buy you a drink so we can get better acquainted. Is this guy hitting on me? Yes. I could give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's pretty true that DJ Saturn is hitting on me. That's kind of you, but I'm just passing through Glasgow. Oh, okay. Otherwise, there's a couple of secondhand record shops in the town center. Should be able to listen to there. He jots down the address and on his notebook, tears it off, and holds it out to me. Thanks. I leave the studio and building and begin walking back to the town center, hoping to reach the record store before it closes. About an hour later, I enter the room in a little hotel near the station that I booked for the night. I was able to buy a little travel record player in the record store that the student had suggested. I sit at the end of the bed, put the headphones over my ears, and switch the player to 45 revolutions per minute. My hand trembles with apprehension as I place the needle in the groove. Damn, we are really doing this. This is not what I was expecting to, have happen. It's pretty interesting. What point in my past will the record send me to? Will I find the answers to my questions? And most of all, what will my new reality be when I return to the present? The music swallowed me whole before I have a chance to change my mind. A percussion intro. I wonder if it's going to be the same song. I try to focus on Ulysses. How he looks, his voice, his laugh, his smell. The walls of the hotel room begin to resonate, to distort and stretch. The air blazes with iridescent particles, shimmering. Then the world implodes and I am somewhere else. Do we go further back than when we met? I don't think so, right? Probably not. The record store. The three of us. Oh. Oh, this is text. This is singing.
Starting anew. Time falls on itself again. I focus on the atom heart, the nucleus of what we were, of what we are. Golden light through the window, evening sun, Sunday afternoon. You there on the couch, me at the piano. I look at you, I smile. When you smile back, the flow of time stabilizing into this then, and this then is now.
Lizzie closes his book and looks at me, concerned. Are you okay? You stopped playing all of a sudden. I get the feeling you were somewhere else. Yes, I'm fine. Damn, clearly younger Alice. Interesting. Hold myself together. I know that my time here in this moment is precious. I don't want to allow myself to be overcome by emotion. Are you sure you'd think you'd seen a ghost? Lucy stands up. I'm going to get a glass of water. I'll be right back. Don't move. I'll get it for you. Lucy goes to the kitchen. I have time to look into the mirror above the mantelpiece. I still have long hair. I'd cut it a month or two before we split up. Which tells me that we're probably sometime in the summer before our breakup. We were still happy back then. Then in September, at the start of this new school year, it began to grow more distant. Was he already thinking of leaving back then? Lucy gives me the glass of water. I drink. He sits down on the coffee table facing me and puts his hand on my thigh. Better? I nod. Thanks. I put the glass down on the piano. My time is short. I have to get to the point. This will probably sound strange, but... Hi, X-Dune. Hi. I'm glad to hear you're doing awesome. I hope you had an awesome day. How are you? What's good? What's new? What's new in the life of X-Dune Awesome? I sure did. Hell yeah. One second. Okay. Let me drink. Do you know where I could find Arthur Pullman? Arthur Pullman? The radio presenter who played old records in the 90s? Yes. It's funny, there was actually a short article about it in Les in Rocks last week. I just put the magazine on the coffee table, riffles quickly through it, and holds it out to me at the right page. The heading says Jimmy Page's Loch Ness house is sold. Apparently, he bought Boleskine house. Boleskine? house in Scotland that Page, the Led Zeppelin guitarist, bought in the 70s. It appears in some parts of their film concert. The song remains the same. I've got to say I'm not totally surprised. Pullman's always been a Led Zepp fan. He played a lot of their live footage on the shows. Put the magazine down next to me on the piano stool. I hope I'll remember all the information when I get back to the present. I didn't know you knew so much about this stuff. It's because of Mark. He's a big fan of the guy. He's got cassette copies of almost all his shows. If you ask me, some of his mixed choices aren't fantastic. Frankly, playing Ultimate Spinach straight after the Garden of Earthly Delights from the United States of America, it's almost tasteless. This is probably supposed to mean something to me. As for his almost fanatical infatuation with Kelsey Girl. Anyway, all serious musicologists agree that Desert Shore is undeniably Nico's best album. Who the fuck is Nico? I don't know what any of this means. Huh. Okay. Ulysses. Why not mention the Marble Index while we're at it, insisting on being original no matter what? Having someone like Joe Boyd at the helm, that makes all the difference, doesn't it? He's the one we can thank for 5 Leaves Left, for God's sake. Nick Drake's best record. Some people say that Peak Moon is better, but I love this guy's just fucking going on and on. This is off. I know from experience that he could go on like this forever. For hours. I love it. I'm afraid I don't have hours. I grab his arm and look him in the eye. Ulysses. He stops in the middle of his sentence. Understanding lights up his face. It's the record, isn't it? Yes. Talking about the same thing, yes, I listen to the record. And you come from a future where you need to find Arthur Pullman, right? I look away. Scared of telling him too much that it may have an unpredictable impact on my reality. Ulysses seems surprisingly relieved. He takes me in his arms, and we hold each other for a while. He emerges from our embrace and adds cheerfully, "That means it didn't work." What? What didn't work? The walls of the apartment around us begin to dislocate. I don't need him to explain to him. See in his face he understands what's happening. Alice, please, try to remember that we don't need to break up anymore. That I don't have to leave you. That it didn't work. What? We don't need to. What do you mean, Ulysses? Is this all some ploy for him to try to get us back together? What the fuck? After 3 years of being broken up? That'd be super creepy, I'm not gonna lie. It's too late. Once again, I am carried away by the flow of time to the rhythm of the song. This one's Bob.
Time collapses, fragments of the past. Moments split, years in between, chaotic mess. Memories are screamed of sounds in the everlasting now. Everything changes. I shed the remnants of my whole skin until the flow of time stabilizes into this new present.
What? What the fuck? One, I'm noticing that the song is the same song, but it's different based on, like, the music quality and tone. Like, it's like a completely different song. It's super interesting. Anyways, why are we seated in a leather armchair? What the fuck? We were in our hotel room. A jazz record plays softly with the characteristic crackling of a vinyl. I don't immediately notice the older man who is watching me, surprised from an armchair which matches the one I sit in. I do, however, notice is that I'm certainly not in the room in the little hotel near the station in Glasgow. I look down. I'm wearing a very short dress and thick berry red tights. My nails are painted bubblegum pink. My hair is shorter, probably around my shoulders, and think I can glimpse a strand of bright pink out of the corner of my eye. What the fuck happened? Holy shit. The man facing me clears his throat to get my attention. Oh no. Oh no. Um, excuse me, Mr. Pullman. Arthur Pullman. Nice to meet you. He speaks with a calm, almost melodious tone, with that profoundly British, slightly drawling tone that one usually associates with the aristocracy. Alice, I've been looking for you for some time, Mr. Pullman. Please, call me Arthur, or Art, if you prefer. He leans forward and holds out his hand. I shake it. Although this may sound odd, but I don't exactly know how I got here. I don't know more than you about where exactly you've come from, but I can tell you that you just materialized in my office. What the fuck? I suppose that you've just listened to the record, have you? Believe it or not, after all these years, that's the first time I've personally witnessed a realignment, and I'd like to thank you for the experience. Someone knocks on the door. Come in. An elegant, middle-aged man pushes open the door and places a tray with a steaming pot and 2 mugs on the side table. He doesn't seem surprised to find me here. I thought you might like a cup of tea. He walks over to Arthur and plants a quick kiss on his lips. Right, I'll leave you to talk. Thank you, David. David leaves the room. As you see, for my partner, your presence here is perfectly normal. Arthur pauses for a moment, thinking. Now, I suppose that after all the efforts you must have gone through to find me, you no doubt have a lot of questions. Fire away. Ask what he means by realignment. Let's start by figuring out what the fuck just happened. You said that the first time you witnessed a realignment? What does that mean? How can I explain this simply? Let's say it's one of the possible effects of the chorus. The chorus? Yes, the choir of the gods, if you prefer. This is what we call the vibration on the record during the joining time. What do you call it then? I shrug. I don't know, I just say, the record? Arthur smiles. Yes, that probably makes more sense. Each time that someone listens to the record, reality changes to adapt the modifications that the person has made to their past. Our memory, our recollections, the sum of what we are, as it were, remains intact. And there is a principle of economy, if you wish, which makes the changes as limited as possible. It's extremely difficult, indeed very probably impossible, to instill a global change. Generally speaking, someone's listening does not affect others. But it does sometimes happen that one is the eyewitness of a change in reality. Objects or people who appear or disappear before your eyes, or more rarely, the geographical movement of the witness themselves. I call that a realignment. That is exactly what has just happened. You went back to your past to find out where I lived, didn't you? I nod. The record sent you to the moment in your past where you could obtain that information? Yes, that's exactly what happened. Which is why you're here. You know, your intent is the principal factor which determines the movement of your life which the record will make you relive. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Before I have time to recall where I've heard that citation, it's from like some weird, like, cultist shit. He continues. That's the reason I saw you appear in my office a few minutes ago. It's like from something that we learned from like the bookstore in Paris. But how do you explain that you were aware of my sudden appearance when your partner reacted as though nothing odd has happened? I don't really have an explanation. Or at least I'm not prepared to suggest something I'm not completely sure about. Nobody truly knows how it all works. Generally speaking, the person who's heard the chorus is the only person who's aware that reality has changed. Think back to Marie and Robin. That explains why they had no memory of Jean-Baptiste, our original boyfriend. Perhaps I simply had the good luck in the moment to be in the same room as you as the moment of realignment. As for David, he simply wasn't present for that quite singular occasion. For him, he probably arrived in Boleskine earlier, entering by the front door, then we shut ourselves away in my office to talk. Can you tell me more about how the record works? You seem to know how the record works. Can you tell me more? No is a big word. But yes, if you consider that I'm one of the handful of people in the world who have heard of the Koros, so that gives me some authority on the question. What do you want to know? Can you undo the effects of the record? Is it possible to undo the effects of the record? No, that's impossible, I'm sorry. Once you've heard the chorus, you can't go back. Even if, by some miracle, you manage to come back to a reality very close to your original reality, it wouldn't be the same. You'd remember what you'd lived listening to the record and living inside the other versions of yourself. Unless... Holman leans back in his chair and seems lost in thought for a while. Theoretically, if someone else went back to the past and stopped you from listening to the record, he breaks off. No, that wouldn't work, though. You'd no longer be conscious of the existence of the chorus, but that you'd heard it in your original reality. You would inevitably be different from who you would be if your past had not been modified. What the fuck? Hi, Scar! Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day. Oh, it's getting complicated. We are learning about how the record functions, and it's complicated. This is it's definitely one of those. I don't know. It's like a time splitting chart. I don't know how to put it. There are several graphs of like different time travel charts, and this game needs one of those. Ugh. I'm okay, just got done soldering and cutting wires for like 2 hours. I gotta see if it works. Oh my gosh. The moment of truth. I'm doing well. We're finally learning what the fuck is going on in this game, and what, if anything, we can do to take action against what's happened. I am good. What even is this game? It's a visual novel that is very complicated and involves time travel. But basically, it's about this music record that if you listen to it, it sends you into a moment of your past, and if you do anything different from that moment in your past, then you butterfly effect yourself, and the reality you return to once you finish listening to the record is different. So the game started by us listening to the record, and in so doing, it changed our life. We no longer were dating our existing boyfriend of 3 years. And in an effort to figure out what has been going on, we've been trying to figure out find our ex. And this is what we just did, is we listened to the record to try and gain new information about what the heck was happening. And we wound up, like, coming into reality here. And this guy is like, oh, you just materialized in my office. I see you listen to the record. And we're like, bitch, explain. And so he's explaining it. It's very complicated, but basically, there's a soundtrack that if you listen to it, you butterfly effect yourself, and we have now butterfly effect ourselves to gain information. And we are now gaining that information. It's very interesting. And I don't know, he's explaining here that you can't undo the butterfly. Like, you can't return to your original reality, because if you attempt to use it to return. How high were the authors when writing this story? It vary. It's like super complicated. Uh, because these literally like explaining it here is like if you were to try to unbutterfly effect yourself, you would not be conscious of the fact that the record that butterfly affecting yourself exists, but you know about it, so it would be a different reality than the one where you unbutterfly affect yourself. It's just, I mean, it's fucking time travel nonsense. Anytime time travel is introduced in a story, it's complicated and messy as shit. Lordy. This is why, if you're writing a story, you never introduce time travel. It's messy. Um, I hope whatever you're working on works, though. To ground reality, I hope that your soldering and cutting wires is effective and you get it right on your first try, which never happens, but I hope it happens for you. This is why Mario 64 is confusing AF, parallel universes and stuff. I can't even. But yeah, we're getting answers and trying to track down our ex, who's the person who sent us the record in the first place. A sigh escapes me. So even with the record available to me, I can never completely return to my original reality. No, I'm sorry. But you said even with the record available. You do realize that you don't have the record available to you anymore, don't you? I suddenly realized that I haven't checked if I still have the record with me. I grab my bag, which rests on my feet, and frantically rifle through it, trying not to panic. What an elaborate breakup scheme. Was the relationship so bad he's like, I'm not going to break up with you, I'm just going to make it so we know. No. This is not a breakup scheme. I think it's a try to get back together scheme. Because the person who sent us the record is the person that we broke up with 3 years ago. And we lost our current boyfriend of 3 years. Like, we had, like, broke up with this guy and started dating someone else. And 3 years later, we were sent something by the record by our ex. I think he's, like, sent it to us in an effort to get us back. And it's like, which is weird as shit. I mean, it's been 3 years. But I don't know. I just don't know. It makes me think that in his original reality, we never left. Like, we never separated. And then he listened to the record for the first time, and we separated. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is our original reality is one in which was not his original reality. That's my theory. But I don't know. It's just tough to say. But apparently we don't have the record anymore. It's tough to say. Clearly the record is not there. Alice, I understand your reaction, but do try to stay calm. Where were you just before you materialized here? In a hotel room in Glasgow. The record stayed there then? Holman nods. Yes, I'm afraid so. Can I use your telephone? I tell myself that chances of finding it are slim, but I have to try. Arthur points to the office door. In the entrance hall. Turn right when you go out of the office, then left at the end of the corridor. I'll wait here. Thanks. I love that our like we're shrouded in darkness. I mean, this is the first time we're seeing our face again. For the record, before we like listened to the record and materialized here, we were blonde. Like, like we did not look even remotely like this. It's very like we had long blonde hair, and now we have short pink hair. How casual is he? He is. Must mean this is happening a lot. I don't think so. My understanding is that this is like I mean, he said it himself. This is the first time this has happened to him, where he's like witnessed something like this. So who knows? Upgrade, to be honest. I don't know. I thought she was pretty beforehand. I think she looks pretty now, though. Why is he so casual then? I think he's in shock. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's just the writing is weird. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really know. The telephone is on a small desk across from the front door. About to pick it up when I notice my reflection in the large mirror which hangs on the wall above the desk. It takes me several moments to realize that the image I see reflected is my own. As I suspected, my new appearance is poles apart from the one I had been before I listening to the record. I'm wearing a canary yellow mandarin collar dress, embellished with brightly colored floral motifs, a pleated and apple green jacket, and to top it all off, my red opaque tights. Teamed up with my new hairstyle, a fuchsia pink bob with thick straight bangs, I look like a popsicle. Canary yellow? Yeah, I don't know. Hi, Coffee. Hi. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day. Uh, Coffee's like, what happened? What did I miss? Coffee, we listened to the record again to try to find the radio broadcaster because we couldn't find him. And in listening to the record, we appeared in his office. Oh, the X? No. We were trying to find the radio broadcaster that the X was looking for. Not our X. And in so doing, we like kind of like materialized in his office, and we look like this. And he's like, "Oh, you listened to the record." I see, because we just like materialize. He literally says we materialize in his office, and he's like, "I don't know how you got here. um, you just here now." And he explained to us. He basically confirmed a couple things. One, it's impossible to go back to our original reality. Um, but he also went into some details on like the mechanics behind the record. Um, but also, we were in a hotel room when we listened to the record. Um, and we just kind of appeared in his office, and he's like, the record isn't here. So we're going to apparently call the hotel and be like, do I have a room? Because the record should be in the room still. I guess that in this new reality, I've allowed my liking for pop music to be liberally expressed. So many comments to be made about look like a popsicle, but I'm gonna stay quiet. You're valid. I mean, I imagine she likes it. I don't see why she wouldn't. She has said before in game that she had become like she like went into banking in her original reality, and she had become like she had someone had commented that she like looked like a professional banker and not like someone who's like into 60s music, like psychedelic music. And so I wonder if she thinks that she's like repressed that, and so like this has manifested from that, like her wanting to express herself more. So I imagine that she likes it because she's expressing herself more, you know? At least in my head. It will probably take some time to get used to the boldness of these style choices, which I will now have to do. But I find my living with the idea with the I find the idea of living within this new version of myself surprisingly attractive, even almost self-evident. Turn myself away from my reflecting and pick up the hotel before realizing that I don't know the number of the hotel. Oh no. I rummage in my bag and I'm relieved to find a crumpled bill for my night in the Station Hotel in Glasgow. The number of the hotel switchboard is written below the address. I explain my situation to the receptionist. She tells me that no, I've forgotten nothing in my room, which I checked out of the day before last. I insist. She tells me that, actually a woman had come to the hotel in the afternoon, that she'd asked to get a back of vinyl record which had been forgotten in room number 23. The room hadn't been let for at least 2 weeks, but at the woman's urging she'd agreed to finally check. She'd been astonished when in fact there had been a vinyl record and a little travel record player in room 23. God fucking damn it, the fucking organization stole the record back. She confirms that yes, of course she let the woman take the record, that she's sorry, and that I had been in room 17. She couldn't have guessed that the record belonged to me, and actually on that subject she'd like to know how I managed to get into room 23. Oh no. I tell her it's not important, however, if she could tell me the name of the person who reclaimed the record, that would be great. Oh no. This is what happens when you try to use evil powers for your own selfish reasons. We should never have listened to the record. Oh god. She tells me that she hadn't thought to ask her name, but it was a woman middle-aged with white hair and wearing a dark pantsuit. I thank her, hang up, and hiss Eva between my teeth before the handset is resting back on its support. Then I return to the office. Pullman has changed the music in my absence. He's smoking a cigarette by the window while he waits for me. This is fine. I guess. I mean, we don't have another choice, right? It has to be fine. This is who we are now. This is the life that we have now. Like, I don't know. It's strange to me that she jumped to using the record because she had explicitly not wanted to use the record multiple times before that. So, but whatever. Oh, excuse me. He stubs it out in the ashtray left on the exterior windowsill. David's forbidden me from smoking inside. We've compromised on this. I'd love to quit, but I'm afraid it's rather late for this old dog to start learning new tricks. He sits back down behind his desk. So? I'm afraid someone's already got the record. Let me guess. A woman in her 40s answers to the name of Eva Lorenz. Am I right? God damn it, he fucking knows. Do you know her? Arthur lets out a sigh. Oh yes, I've known her since she was a child, but I haven't seen her for more than 10 years. How have you known her for so long? I was a member of the commune where she was born in Germany. What? I was, let us say, quite close to her father, Ernst Lorenz. Oh, they were together. Pullman breaks off and stares out the window, his gaze far away for a minute. Anyway, I prefer that she hadn't gotten her hands on the record. Okay, well, what the fuck do you want me to do about it? I materialized in your office. I'm sorry. To be perfectly honest, I suspected I'd hear from her again sooner or later. Someone knocks on the door. Yes? Art, dinner will be ready soon. I assume you'd be staying at the manor tonight, Alice. I made up a guest room for you. You did quite right, David. Alice and I still have a lot to discuss. We'll pick this up after dinner. Thank you for your hospitality. You're very welcome. We love having people stay at the manor. It's a big house. It's made for entertaining. I follow my hosts into the dining room. David has cooked a simple but delicious meal. He serves me a glass of red wine while he scrutinizes me with a piercing, curious gaze. Tell me, Alice, what do you do? Mine has something to do with music, considering how much time you spent with art. I smile and take a sip of wine, winning myself some thinking time. Because we're in banking in our reality, but we have no idea what the fuck we do in this reality. It's kind of crazy. Because we might not be in banking in this reality. I admit to myself that I have no idea. Accountant? Yeah, I have no idea. Who knows? One thing's for sure, I'm certainly not a banker, not in this reality. And that's kind of terrifying. It really is. On the one hand, I could answer vaguely that I work in music, which isn't exactly a proven fact, but it does seem in line with this new reality. On the other, I could answer honestly and tell them that I work in a bank, in spite of all the clues which suggest that it's now extremely improbable. Oh, y'all, how many French wives, husbands did we acquire? We are in a new reality, Wiz. We listen to the record. It's kind of complicated, but in searching for this guy, I'm hearing 0. Yeah, well, maybe. Who knows how many people that we've slept with in this new reality? You gotta pump these numbers up, Nori. Oh my god. Okay, so recall last time we were going to find Ulysses in Scotland uh, to find this radio broadcaster named Arthur, right? Uh, well, we went to Scotland and we couldn't find the guy. So we listened to the record to try and find information about the guy from the past. And we did. And we materialized in his office. And we have no idea what the fuck is going on. But this guy, he's like, hey, you materialized in my office. I assume you listen to the record. Uh, yeah, and we were like, yes. And he explained to us a little bit about how the record works. And that we can't return to our original reality. But also we look vibrantly different. And also Eva, the woman who was like threatening us from the evil organization, has now acquired the record. Because when we materialized in his office, we did not take the record with us. It was like left in a hotel in Glasgow. I know plane tickets are expensive to just go to Scotland. We were in Scotland. Don't no. We were already in Scotland. We just didn't know how to find this guy. Which also, the internet doesn't exist yet. I'm learning now. I don't know how. There's no way that the internet exists because we could have just Googled this guy, right? But also, they were discussing how the guy did shows in the 90s. So the internet must exist. I don't fucking know. I have no idea what time, what year this game takes place. It's so strange. But yeah. Uh, we materialized in his office. We called the hotel that we stayed in, and they said they gave the record to Eva. And now we have this guy, the radio broadcaster's husband, is asking us what we do for a living, and we were realizing that we don't know what we do for a living in this lifetime. We have no idea what we do for a living. Because we were a banker, but it doesn't seem like we're a banker anymore. So we have no idea. And we'll just say we work in the music industry because that's what we think we do now. Or we could just be like, we work in a bank because that's what we did in our original reality, and we don't know if we do in this reality or not. I don't fucking know. I mean, sure, let's just say this. It seems more likely. Yes, I actually do work in the music industry. I need some information about a rare record that only Arthur could give me. David smiles. That doesn't surprise me. Art's a real fount of knowledge. Now that he's retired, I keep pushing him to write something on the subject. What do you think, Alice? Arthur cuts us off. Davy, surely you're not going to interrogate our guest, are you? No, sorry, I didn't mean to pry. I hope I haven't made you feel awkward. Try to point the discussion in a less prickly direction. How did you get to know Arthur? My dad was Latino, my mom American, and I grew up in Queens, New York. I met Art in a club in the East Village. He was a local correspondent for the BBC. It took him a few years to persuade me to move to London with him, but I'm happy to say I don't regret it a bit. Arthur, who's risen to clear our plates away, strokes his partner's shoulder with affection. Cheese or straight to dessert? David gives me a winning smile. Whichever you prefer, Alice, but if we put the cheese on the table, it will give me an excuse to eat it. Spoken like a true American. Based. I don't know that Alice would want the cheese, though. Let's just go to dessert. We're in Europe? Yeah, I know. I know. What do you mean, though? The dude's American. David's cholesterol levels say thank you, Alice. Arthur disappears into the kitchen with our plates. Art never talks about his youth. I really think that's a shame. He had the chance to see the biggest bands of the 70s. He's got some incredible live recordings. Arthur returns with a bowl of fruit salad and dessert dishes. Did you make her listen to your recording of Miles at the Schaefer Music Festival? Art managed to capture the last concert of Miles Davis's electric period. It's truly incredible. Alice isn't here for that, David. Don't listen to this party pooper. He doesn't like talking about his youth. It's mostly because that period's pretty fuzzy to me. Yes, the world must have been horribly drab before you met me, Art. I laugh. They're both charming and cultured. I'm having a very pleasant evening. Talk about music, about everything and nothing. Arthur tells me about his radio show on the BBC and his life in London in the 90s. By the time we get to the coffee, it's already quite late. David excuses himself and goes to bed, but not without first showing me the way to my room. Then Arthur and I go into the living room to continue our conversation. It's a cozy room. There's an old stone fireplace with 2 leather armchairs and a couch placed in front of it. Arthur puts a log on the hearth while I take a seat in one of the armchairs. Can I get you a nightcap? Cognac? Whiskey? I'd prefer something a bit lighter. Arthur pokes around in the bar. There's a bit of port, will that do? Perfect, thanks. He leans back at ease in the armchair. I take a deep breath. There's something bothering me. Why have you decided to help me? I mean, we don't know each other. You watch me pop up in your office, and you're so kind and supportive. Why? It's Arthur's turn to take a deep breath. I feel rather responsible for what's happened to you. The record, I should have destroyed it when I could have. Oh, interesting. Dun dun dun. But I was selfish, and instead I chose to escape by throwing myself into the best life I could imagine. I hope that you'll finish what I started if you get the chance. Let me start by telling you my story, please. It could help shed light on a few shadowy areas for you. Very well. I'm listening. Pullman takes a gulp of whiskey and puts his glass down on the coffee table. I'm gonna lie, not destroying the record is crazy work. It's so crazy. If you have the chance to destroy the record, and like once you know what it does, and like actually understand what the fuck is going on, like you're insane. You're an insane person for sure. Like the record is like abhorrently evil, and it's ruined so many lives. I was telling Scar this earlier, but my theory is that the reason that we wound up with the record um, is I believe I'm going to go on the go on the record that say that Ulysses listened to the record, and in his original reality, we were still together. But he listened to the record and changed, and we were no longer together, and that's how we wound up with it. That's my guess. Also, you say that it could be used for evil or cause so much evil. Uh, we have been told, Arthur has explained to us, go on the record. Shut up. Didn't the start say he became distant? Yeah. So, he became distant and we broke up, I don't know, after 3 years. I don't know, no, 3 years ago. I don't know how long we were together. It's tough to say. But in any case, Arthur has said that the record cannot be used for like massive global changes. They can only like make minor changes to our daily life, which is strange because we know that Enzo's fucking wife and child died because he listened to the record. So who knows? Who actually knows? So Arthur is now explaining his story. The year I turned 22, I joined a hippie commune in Germany, in the south of Bavaria, a few miles from Munich. I was young and I dreamed of freedom. I had a terribly middle-class family, and I thought that I had to get a move on and have a few adventures before my ingrained middle-class sensibilities could take root. So I took the ferry for the continent, and I wandered around France and Italy for a few months before taking up residence in a commune in the Bavarian countryside. It was there that I met Ernst Lorenz. For a while, he was my mentor, maybe even my friend. He was an extremely cultured man with incredible charisma. He was over 30, one of the oldest of us, which gave him a sort of natural authority. The commune aimed to be staunchly democratic, but in reality, it was often he who guided the direction, who decided when a decision needed taking for the governing of the community. Those first years were fantastic. It was a carefree existence, we cultivated the land, did a bit of crafting, wickerwork, pottery to exchange for all that we couldn't produce ourselves. There was music every night. We took acid frequently. Okay. But it didn't last. Arthur's face is bleak. Based. Weez, do you take acid frequently? No, you're right, and I was naive to have thought it could. Eva was born the year before I arrived. Her mother, a young woman in the commune, died in childbirth. Ernst adopted her as if he were her father, which was certainly a possibility, but was not absolutely a certainty. I feel like I'm about to need it. This game is wildly confusing, so maybe. It was the era of free love. The concept of monogamy was pretty hazy for the members of the community. Whatever the case, he raised her as his daughter. Eva was an odd child. She was clever, precocious. She often seemed more adult than child. I found out years later that Ernst had made her listen to the record several times during her childhood, so that she could be liberated as soon as possible from the yoke of reality. What the fuck? Holy shit. Bro made a child listen to the demon record. What the fuck? I've got no idea what the effects of the chorus could be. The chorus is what he calls the record. Could be on such an immature psyche, but I imagine it must have been a determining factor in the construction of her identity. Oh my god, how did the record fit into all this? It was always there, right from the commune's beginning. It belongs to Ernst originally. He never wanted to reveal where it came from. I think his father had discovered it in some way or another and had it engraved on acetate. Ernst was from a very wealthy family. He created the commune after he inherited the land which belonged to his family. I didn't learn that until later either. Things started to change in the second half of the 70s. Little by little, Ernst's position became more radical. It was insidious, but the commune began to change gradually to a quasi-religious splinter group. The enchanted era interlude of the hippie era was ending, and not just in our community. There had always been arrivals and departures in the commune. Then there came a time when, without us noticing, the tide changed, and the departures became more frequent than the arrivals. Can you tell me more about that time? What do you mean, a quasi-religious splinter group? I don't like the word sect, but that's exactly what it looked like. Little by little, Ernst had became a guru. We were a handful of the diehards from the outset who hadn't left the commune. They were people who joined after us. They weren't of the same caliber as the early residents. I probably should have left then. But to be completely honest, I was petrified at the idea of reintegrating into society. It was during those years Ernst revealed the existence of the record to me for the first time. Homo was in a straight up cult, never mind sect. Yeah. Yeah. I think only the closest and most devoted members knew about it, even at the start of the commune. I heard the chorus for the first time in 1981. It was an incredible experience, as it was for all initiates. That's definitely a fucking cult. Look at this. Holy shit. I relived the times in the first years of the communes, moments of simple happiness in bygone days. For a very long time, I had no idea that the chorus allowed you to change the past. Ernst needed me to manage the day-to-day organization of the commune, and that suited me to a T. Damn, that looks like my shrine in the house. Is it to a certain green-haired individual? Excuse me. Huh? What? I mean, I'm going to assume that Wiz has a shrine to Amaya. By 1985, there were only a handful of yearly residents left. There was Ernst, his daughter Eva, 3 other followers, and myself. Coffee, smile, like you also don't have a shrine. We moved into the great Lorenz family mansion. I had become the de facto personal secretary of Ernst Lorenz. That's fascinating, but what was the point of all that? Arthur shrugs. Coffee. Look to the side. Look to the other side. Not a cold, by the way. True! What's the point of life? There's a hesitation before he clarifies what he means, an enigmatic smile playing on his lips. What I mean is, I never knew if Ernst truly had a long-term plan. Thinks he simply found a way of life that suited him, and he did what he had to make it last. I mean, it must seem strange to you, but to be perfectly honest, it was quite a pleasant life. It took some time for me to mourn the loss of those hippie ideals. Once I got into the new routine, though I don't really regret those years. In that case, what made you leave? A combination of various factors. For some time, oh my god, I don't speak German. The Bundesnachrichtendienst Bundesnachrichtendienst. Oh my lord. So Bundesnach is Germany, right? Like um the Bundesliga or uh that kind of thing. It's like Germany. I thought that was a show. You thought what was a show? Bundesnachrichtendienst? That's not a show. How could you think that's a show? The RFA's intelligence service has been watching us. Like the sword of Damocles, the menace of their strike on our network hung over us. Okay. Didn't you just say boondocks? No. Bundes. Boon Bundes is like from like I know it from the Bundesliga, which is the German soccer league. Football. You're actually Canadian, so you actually know to call it football and not soccer. I can actually say football to you. The Boondocks is a show, though. My understanding is it's a good show. I've only seen like a couple episodes, though. Ernst had sunk into a kind of permanent paranoia, which was only worsening with time. With hindsight, I'm sure it was a warning sign of his illness. With the fall of the Soviet Union, we took advantage of the chaos generated by the reunification to emigrate to the other side of the Iron Curtain, to Prague. That's not true, it's also soccer here? Oh no, I'm so sorry. Also, it was near Munich. Was Munich part of the East Germany? Soccer is an NA curse, it really is. Let me look at a map of Germany during the reign of the Soviet Union. No, Munich was part of West Germany. So why was... I'm so confused. Why were they behind the Iron Curtain, though? Oh, they emigrated to Prague, which was part of Czechoslovakia at the time, which I think was part of the Soviet Union. So they went to the Soviet side after the Soviet Union fell. I see. Never mind. I was like, what? I was so confused for a second. I think it was Eva who whispered that idea in her father's ear. I imagine she'd realized that, with all the upheaval, they couldn't cross before then. They definitely couldn't. Definitely couldn't. I imagine she'd realized that, with all the upheaval, she'd have the opportunity to carve herself a more important and decisive role in the organization. This is exactly what happened. Wait. What organization? she talking? Is he referring to the commune or to the RFA intelligence service? The commune, I'm assuming. So the organization relocated again, presented itself as kind of a cult allegiance club, vaguely Masonic, at least from the exterior. The Ion Kairos Lodge. Okay. Ion Kairos? What does that mean? As you may have guessed, the name wasn't chosen by chance. Concepts are rather complicated to explain. So, Ion, as we know from the campaign that I'm writing, refers to the god of time, the Greek god of time. Kairos, I don't remember who. I think Kairos is also a time god. Do you want the long version or the short? The long version. Sit back in my armchair. Let's try the long version, if you don't mind. Pull them inside. As I told you, I wasn't very abreast of the what you might call the mystic part of the organization. Even though I was pretty much in charge of the operational aspects of our activities, of course. I asked Ernst about it. What did he tell you? Ion, Kairos, and Chronos are the three terms which correspond to different aspects of the temporality for the ancient Greeks. The notion of Chronos is the easiest to understand. It's what we, modern men, simply call time. One could, at a push, translate Ion as the notion of eternity. As for Kairos, that's more difficult to explain. It is the deciding moment. Infinitesimal moment when everything changes. Do you see what I mean? Yes. Yes, it's perfectly clear. I think of my own experience with the record, reliving those moments of change, the resulting ripples of transformation. This choice to associate eternity and the deciding moment, as you say, the Ion and the Kairos. It's almost poetic. That doesn't tell me how you managed to escape. Sorry, you're right. I'm afraid I got a bit off track there. Try to stick to the basics, but I could talk to you all night without getting through everything that happened to me during those 20 years of my life. Anyway, it was the move to Prague which marked the beginning of the end for me. Ernst was suffering from an early onset and aggressive strain of Alzheimer's disease, undiagnosed, of course. While we stayed in Bavaria in the house that he'd always known, I think he managed to counteract his progressive memory loss. In a completely new environment, however, his condition worsened rapidly. Eva became more and more important, finally superseding her father as the head of the organization. Little by little, she moved me to the sidelines. When Ernst died in '91, I really began to question my own commitment to the lodge. I suppose you could call it a midlife crisis, but the fact is, I wanted to change my life. And also, while Ernst and I simply defended our way of life, Eva had other ambitions. She was the most diligent student of the Choros, to which she had access all the time, unlike the other initiates, who only had a chance to listen to the record during special ceremonies which we organized twice a year. Holy shit. How did you get your hands on it? But with the record so well guarded, how did you manage to steal it? Oh, there was no way to take it physically. The record was far too well guarded. So I used the only way I had access to. I used the first ceremony of the corner. So how do they not teleport all over the place with the record? I don't think my understanding is that most of them didn't know about the past changing parts of it. But I think, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no fucking clue. This game, I don't know. It's very complicated. I'm sure you could ask a million questions exactly like that and not get it all. Maybe you're supposed to listen to it with other people. Maybe. I just don't know. I used the first ceremony of the Koros after Ernst's death to change my past, and without knowing it, I managed to break the rules and move the record out of Prague. But you told me that the record couldn't be moved geographically while being listened to. There's a loophole to that rule. Let me explain. Having spent most of my adult life in the commune, then in the Lorenz home, the Koros systematically sent me back, give or take a few years, to the same place. I had very little maneuvering room to change anything in my past. This time was no different. What was different, however, was that I was desperate. I realized that I couldn't escape by changing the moment the Koros had sent me to, so I listened to the record again in the past. This time, the record took me to London before my departure for the commune, which gave me the opportunity to decide not to go. What the absolute fuck? Bro listened to the record, and while he was listening to the record, listened to the record again. That's insanity. We're in Inception, literally in Inception. Holy shit. And when you came back to the present, you were a radio presenter on the BBC? Exactly. That's crazy. Not gonna lie, that's pretty smart. It's insane is what it is. Who the fuck has the capacity to do that? But that also means that in this reality, Arthur was never a part of the commune. So Eva doesn't know who he is, or might not know who he is. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Not only did I find myself sitting on a treasure trove of live recordings of all the great bands of the 70s, but also I was in a relationship with a charming, funny, cultured man who you met earlier. So, bro listens to the record and, while desperate, listens to the record in the record and wakes up to find himself dating a cute boy? That's crazy. So the commune also might not exist since it was kind of about the record too. No, we know the commune exists because Eva has been hunting us for the record, and now we know she has it back. On the one hand, this time, the change that Koros had wrought on my life was radical. Meanwhile, someone else listens to it and loses family. Yeah, for real, for real. Fucking poor Enzo, dude. That shit is so sad. And my new life had almost nothing in common with my original reality. He got a raw deal. He really did. On the other, I was free and I've never regretted my decision. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. What happened after? I suppose Eva must have tried to find you? Oh, yes. It was hardly difficult to find Arthur Pullman, radio presenter on the Great British Airwaves. She came to see me in London, maybe, 1 month after my departure. At that time, I had no idea that the record had disappeared. When she realized that I didn't have it, she left me alone. How does Eva remember that he was a part of the commune, though, if it's a different reality in which he never went to the commune? Oh my god, this shit is crazy. What the fuck? What does that even mean? I understand she had nothing gained from messing up your life. Exactly. And well, I've known her since she was born. I tell myself that somewhere deep down, maybe she still has a tiny bit of affection for me. Either way, despite our failings and shortcomings, the Lodge remains the successor of the hippie ideal. And those are the values that Eva was raised with. I'm fairly certain that she would always choose the non-violent option if she could. We're getting to the problem with time travel in media. I hope there's an explanation. It's not just because she could. Yeah. A lot of time travel in media has, like, very hand-wavy stuff. And it's crazy. Maybe people who have listened to it remember the changes. We just don't know. Maybe. The answer is maybe. Anyway, there it is. You know what came after. There's something I don't understand. What happened to the record? I think it materialized to the place where I listened to it again in the past, Well, I heard the chorus. So the location of the commune in Bavaria? That's it. Ernstein wanted to sell the property when we moved to Prague. The money from the sale allowed them to finance a large residence in the Norisvastrada district near Charles Bridge. Then whoever bought the Lorenz home family house, they found the record? Probably, but it's more complicated than that. The property was transformed into a hotel after the sale. The type of place you rent out for weddings, you know. I nod. A needle in a haystack situation, then. Indeed. Besides, I never heard any more about the record, except those legends hawked by record collectors, the store owners, and other musicians who have resisted adding to. Well, at least not until you materialized in my office earlier. Thank you. It mustn't not be easy to have gone back over all that after so many years. Arthur gestures so there's no problem with the wave of his hand. I guess this business would resurface sooner or later. As I told you, I regret not destroying the record when I had the chance. Perhaps I could have ended all this. He finishes his drink with one swallow and checks his watch. However, I hope you'll excuse me, but it's late. We'll finish this conversation tomorrow if you don't mind. Wait, you haven't told me how to find the record again. Arthur lets out a sigh. The record is probably in Prague. I'll give you the details tomorrow, don't worry. Come on, I'll walk you to your room. He's probably sentient or some BS though, like the One Ring in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it might be. It might have like, demonic sentience of some kind and want to be listened to by certain people. So that way it can affect the world the most or something. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? Not me, that's for damn sure. The Boleskine guest room is a big room, decorated in a cozy rustic style with an adjoining bathroom. My travel bag rests on an upholstered seat at the foot of the bed. Most certainly know how to receive their guests. Quickly go through my bag, realizing that it probably doesn't contain the same things as before I listened to the record. Without surprise, I discover that it's overflowing with a colorful, eclectic selection of clothes. I take out my wash bag and a pair of short pajamas with watermelon print. Then I get undressed and discover, this time to my surprise, that my arms and thighs are covered with colorful tattoos, which are quite as eclectic as my new wardrobe. Oh my lord, imagine waking up and being, in completely different garb, with, tattoos and stuff. That's crazy. What the fuck? Holy shit. I go into the bathroom to observe my new image in the mirror. It's almost body horror. It's just very strange. It's like you could listen to this record and wake up like a paraplegic. Oh no, titty alert. They're not showing anything. I'll be careful, hopefully. This new version of myself is decidedly strange. Also, she has no tattoos in this. It's very funny. After a quick shower, I slip between the sheets, hoping that sleep will find me swiftly. The next morning, I enter the kitchen shyly. David is reading the newspaper as Arthur prepares scrambled eggs. Radio, probably tuned to the BBC, and delivers the morning news report. It's he who notices my presence on the doorstep. Oh, good morning, Alice. Did you sleep well? I mean, I wasn't expecting your hookup to be naked last stream. Neither was I. Holy shit. Obviously, with all my adventures of the previous day, my neck has been a little disturbed. But does Arthur really need to know that fact? No, I mean, if you're staying at a guest in someone's home, you say that you slept well regardless, right? I passed an excellent night, thank you. Arthur smiles. I'm delighted to hear it. There are quite a few stories about the haunting of Boleskine. Since I've lived here, I've always slept very well too. If you want my opinion, I believe that ghosts, if they exist, attach themselves to people, not to places. Pullman is thoughtful for a moment, then abruptly changes the subject. Do you like English breakfast? Fun fact, I am very much a fan of English breakfast. Do take a seat, please. I obey and sit down. David puts down his paper and picks up the coffee pot. Coffee? I hold out the mug in front of me. Yes, please. I've hardly had time to take a mouthful of delicious, rejuvenating nectar when Arthur places a plate of scrambled eggs, sausages, and baked beans before me, to which he adds 2 slices of toast straight from the toaster. You like beans? I do like beans. I do like beans. I'm also a fan of beans on toast. Give. That's what I'm saying. Give. Um, so it's kind of strange in the reality that we had before we wound up here. In our original reality, we were a non-smoker. We had quit smoking, and then in this reality, and then like in our post first listen reality, we were a smoker again, and now we're back to being a non-smoker. She has not mentioned smoking. Crazy. We eat in silence. David sips his coffee. Arthur seems engrossed by the radio. I finish my plate quickly, pour myself another cup of coffee, and use the quiet to try to assemble my thoughts into better order. The first startling information is, it would seem, that Ulysses never reached Boleskine. Yeah, the ex-boyfriend has not shown up here and has not been mentioned. Even if I didn't have a chance to ask him about it directly, maintains your body, so I guess you're not addicted here. Yeah, it's crazy. That it's wild. That means that you could like listen to this record and wake up like handicapped because you would like whatever you did in the past like made you have like an accident or something. Like who knows? Like it's crazy. Or cancer free. Exactly. Literally the truth, Wiz. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. I imagine that what happened after travel was that after traveling to Glasgow, Ulysses probably backtracked to Paris, where he decided to send the record to me. I can only think of 2 reasons why he would have decided to give up his journey to Boleskine. He judged that his visit would be too dangerous. I suppose he was also being closely followed by Eva and the members of her lodge, Ion Kairos. I wouldn't roll these dice for sure. Yeah. Realizing that the noose was tightening, perhaps he preferred to muddle the trails by changing his route and by getting rid of the record as fast as possible. The other option is that for him too, the trail to Arthur stopped in Glasgow. After all, I was only able to discover the address of Pullman's new home by returning to the past. It's possible he hadn't remembered that the sale of Boleskine had taken place, and that the person he was seeking was the one who had bought the property. So he would have returned to Paris to seek out a new lead, and the Iron Kairos must have caught up with him there, and he sent the record to me rather than let Eva get her hands on it. Which makes me even more mad at the idea that it's my fault that Eva was finally able to achieve her purpose. No, I wouldn't be mad at that. I would be pissed at the fucking boyfriend for involving me in this shit. Like, why would you send me this shit? Especially with no explanation. Bro didn't even leave a note that said, don't listen to this, it will ruin your life. Like, how hard would that have been? As for me, I find myself stuck in this new present and this new life that I know nothing about. Does Patrizia still know me in this new reality? What about Alan, Enzo, the other people who I've encountered during my journey? If there's one thing for sure, there is no way this new Alice leads a tidy little life in Bordeaux. It all seems so far away, although only a few days have passed. Arthur's voice drags me from my reflections. I'm going to pick up the post of the letterbox. If you'd like to come with me, Alice, it would be company for me and would give us a chance to finish our conversation. David's going up to Inverness to do some shopping this morning. I'll drop you off at the station. My hosts are most certainly perfect. Not knowing how to express my gratitude, I content myself with saying, thank you. I'll pick up my plate and mug. David gestures me to leave them in the sink. Then, after running to my room to grab my coat, I join Arthur in the entrance hall. We go out. Outside, the weather is cold and dreary. The green highlands landscape is enveloped in an early morning mist which hasn't yet lifted. Arthur hands me a piece of paper. This is the address of the lodge in Prague. Now that Eva has the record, I think I can confirm that she'll take it back there. I'd like to do more to help you, but it's been 15 years since I severed my ties with that part of my life. You've already helped enormously. I don't know, however, I can ever thank you for your hospitality, for all the information you've given me about the record. Well, there's no need to thank me. As I told you, I do feel rather responsible for what's happened to you. Holman points to the lane which winds away from the house. The postbox is at the end of the lane near the road. We start walking. So do you know what you're going to do? What I'm going to do? Yes, when you leave Buliskin. I don't suppose it will be too difficult to find a flight from London to Prague. It's true that I hadn't really considered the question. On one hand, Arthur has encouraged me quite insistently to try to get the record back. On the other, why should I really do it? I don't have much information about this new reality, except for the few clues I've been able to glean from my belongings. I go home to Bordeaux, take some time before making any decisions. I could also stop in London, drop in on Alan, even if I don't really know if we still know each other in this new reality. And then there's Ulysses. If he never came to Buliskin, where could he be? I think back to our encounter just yesterday for me, 3 years ago for him. What did he mean by we don't need to break up anymore? It would be so much simpler if I could just find him. No matter what, I'm not going to charge straight ahead to Prague. Not before I learn a little about my new life. Let's just go back to Bordeaux and figure out what the fuck is going on with our life, I think. There's no reason for us to go to London. I think I'll start by going home to Bordeaux. After all these adventures, I need to know who I am in this new reality. I understand. I hope you'll find the answers to your questions. But do lose sight of the fact that, how should I put it, you're still you, deep down. I don't believe that the choices we make change us in our deepest essence, if you see what I mean. I think I disagree with that. I think I disagree with that. Your choices can definitely affect the kind of person you are. And like, you know, maybe you're open and carefree, and then you make the choice to trust someone, and they break that trust, and now you're no longer as trusting afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, your choices can definitely affect you in that way. I'm not so sure. It's not so simple to change one's destiny. And I'm not so sure that you can separate yourself completely from your own past. In any case, thanks again for this address in Prague, and for everything else. Arthur just smiles at me this time. We reach the mailbox. He opens it, sees that it's empty, and we head back to the house. David is waiting for us at the door. It would be a good idea if we don't hang out about too long. I'd like to be back for lunch. Anyway, the earlier we get going, the less difficult you'll find finding a train, Alice. Why not? I just need a minute to get my things and I'm ready to go. A few minutes later, I climb into David's old 4x4. Then we leave Buliskin, heading for Inverness, then London, then Bordeaux. Chapter 5. I don't speak Greek. What the fuck does that say? I genuinely have no idea. Maybe it's Kion Iros? Ion Kairos? Who knows? It clears. Yeah, for sure. When the night train finally stops at Gare Saint Jean, Saint Jean, we go up to the platform to emerge in the gloom of Bordeaux. At the turning of the year, I'm overwhelmed by an odd sense of relief. Perhaps it's what they call homesickness? Even if I've only been away from Bordeaux for a few years, it feels as though an age has passed since I began the adventure which took me to Paris and onward to the primeval lands of northern Scotland. Out of habit, I jump on a tram, then my steps might take me to my apartment in the same Pierre district. It's only when I go through my bag and pull out a bunch of keys, which in no way resemble my usual house keys, that I realize I probably don't live in the same place in this reality. That's fucked. That's so fucked. Holy shit. And for that matter, perhaps I don't even live in Bordeaux at all. Oh my lord. I checked the time. It's past noon. My brother doesn't usually pick up at this time of day. When he's not lunching with customers, he tends to leave his telephone on his desk in his office. I tap in Marie's number as I walk to a little bistro where I like to eat. She's both surprised and delighted to hear from me and assures me that I can sleep at their place this evening, no problem at all. And no new memories to tell. Yeah, I think that's probably the most weird part. It's like, you only have the memories of your previous life, you don't get the new memories of the you in this life. Right? That shit's crazy. What happened to the you in this reality? Are they erased? Are they swapped places with you? Like, who knows? Oh, whiz. I eat a quick salad followed by a double espresso to fight the fatigue from my night journey in the sleeper car before I head to Saint Michel. I reconsider passing by the apartment I shared with Ulysses in case he still lives there in this reality, whereas deciding it would probably be more productive to go straight to see Mark at the store. When I find myself before the storefront, I'm surprised to find not a record store, but a florist. Holy shit, not even the places that you recognize are the same. I check several times that I have the right address looking around the surroundings, but backing into the road to compare the position of the building with my memory. There's no possible doubt in this reality it would seem that Mark's store simply doesn't exist. That's crazy. I go inside to inquire, and the young woman at the cash desk confirms that there was a record store here in the old days, but it's been 2 or 3 years since her boss took over the lease. However, she's unable to tell me what became of the previous occupant, nor to give me his new address. With nothing to add, I leave dazed and rather worried. Maybe my brother and sister-in-law will be able to tell me more. I send a short message to Marie to suggest that we meet in our usual brasserie. She said it would be easier if I come straight over to their place at the end of the afternoon. I decide to go for a walk around town while I wait. When I ring the bell at their home, she has just arrived. Hello, Alice. What a nice surprise to get your message. It's been ages since we saw you. It's been ages since we saw her? We saw her like 3 days ago. Oh no. I hug Marie and follow her into the living room. I take a peek into the crib without disturbing my little niece, who is fast asleep. I told Robin you're here. He's delighted that you called us. He's stopping to pick up a few things on the way home from work, and we'll eat at home if that's okay with you. We both have a big day tomorrow. Yes, of course, it's all fine with me. I'm sorry to let you know so late. Can I get you a drink? With pleasure. Marie makes me a gin and tonic and opens a beer for herself, then we sit down in the living room. So, how's London life? How's London life? Oh no. Are you still working in your clothes store? It requires considerable effort for me to conceal my surprise at all the information that Marie has just laying on me about my new life with 2 sentences. Gin tonic pog. She's consistently been a gin and tonic drinker. Like, we know that. As I suspected, I no longer work in banking, and it would seem I now live in London. Yes, it's all fine. Same old, same old. Marie laughs. Same old thing for you. As far as I can see, your life's so rock and roll, and that there's nothing old about it. What brings you to Bordeaux? This is the moment I ask about Ulysses, but I need to approach it with finesse. Oh shit, is it in my French blood to like gin and tonic? I don't know. I like gin, but I don't know that I've ever really had it with tonic, but I also don't like tonic water, so I don't know why I would have it with tonic. I have no idea how to explain to Marie that my memories of the past 3 years have got nothing to do with what's happened in this reality. Do you remember Ulysses? Marie's face suddenly clouds over. Of course I remember Ulysses. But I'm amazed that you want to talk about him. It's bitter and sweet. It's very good, Imo. Maybe I'll have to give it a shot sometime. I know you were really hit by his death, but it's a subject you usually want to. Ulysses is dead in this reality? Holy shit. Oh no. God. All of a sudden, it's as if the world was collapsing around me. Yikes. Yeah. Yikes for real, for real. Holy shit. His death? Marie looks at me with concern. I struggle to keep my composure. Ulysses is dead in this reality? It must be because of the record. Because of me. It's almost as if you should destroy that shit. Not knowing what to do in the face of my reaction, Marie grips my hand with affection and reminds me of the circumstances of his death while carefully avoiding my gaze. Yes, he was knocked down by a car about, what, 3 years ago? Ah, it was after that I must have moved to London. Are you sure you're alright? No, I mean, yes. Sorry, it's just that it's all still very fresh, very vivid for me. Marie looks more and more concerned. I hope it's not that sect thing again. Excuse me? You scared us pretty badly with that at that time. It took you months to accept that the accident was really an accident. So, when he got killed 3 years ago, we were convinced that some sect killed him, and it wasn't an accident. Holy fucking shit, dude. Let's talk about something else. I shouldn't have brought it up. Really, I promise you don't need to worry about me. Are you sure? Absolutely. Honestly, I didn't mean to scare you. Maria looks vaguely relieved. But how about you? Tell me about your life in Bordeaux. How's life as a young mother? We chat for a while about this and that. Robin arrives, his arms full of shopping, just after Marie poured us a second drink. He's thrilled to see me. From his point of view, it's been months since we last saw each other. A weekend at their place not long after their daughter was born. I offer to help him in the kitchen, but he insists that I keep Marie company. He shuts himself away in the kitchen while Marie and I continue gossiping. I try not to lose the thread of conversation, but in a corner of my mind, I'm still trying to join the dots about what happened to Ulysses. Excuse me. I think about what we said the last time I listened to the record. I guess that in this reality, Ulysses didn't leave for Paris. And because he stayed in Bordeaux, Eva, or the members of the Ion Kairos, were able to steal the record from him, and it cost his life. Robin tells us that dinner is ready. I help Marie to set the table, that we eat the delicious risotto that Robin's prepared, with a glass of white wine. What is that? Why is it half black? What is going on? I try to enjoy the moment, even if my thoughts are dragging me into the future and all its uncertainties. Lucy is dead in this reality because of me. I realize that I can't accept this information, not while I have the possibility to find him again. Not while I have the possibility to put things right, to erase this reality, this fake world. No matter the cost of that success. I remember Enzo's story. The record stole the love of his life. Do I really have a chance of success? It didn't work for him. No matter what happens, I have to try. Is this a bug? I've taken my decision. I need the record, and I need to find a way to pry it out of Eva's hands. Arthur Pullman gave me the address of the lodge in Prague. Was that just a bug? Looks like a bug? Yeah. The next day, first thing, I take a plane. Direction Prague. It's already late when the bus from the airport drops me in Andel. The first flight I was able to find left in the early afternoon, with the time for check-in and all the security checks. Yeah, it was very strange. When you add an hour for travel by public transit to get to the center, the winter sun is almost set when I start walking down the long avenue along the side of Petrin Park. Snowflakes begin to spin gently down as I turn into a small street on the right to enter the heart of Norisvastrada, the lesser town which faces the old town across the river. Loren's mansion is a great 19th century edifice with a classically inspired colonnade face. On the frontispiece in Boston gold, Greek letters spell out the word, I'm guessing Ion Kairos, for all to see. I have two options. I could try the direct approach, ask to talk to Eva and convince her to let me listen to the record. Or I could try to get into the building and hope to find the record and a record player before the occupants detect my presence. In both cases, my chances of success look pretty slim. Let's not try to break into the place. Something tells me that, we are not skilled thieves and rogues. I gather my courage and walk with a determined step to the large front door. I open it and enter a great hall which finishes in a double staircase. The place seems deserted. She sounds cray-cray though? Yeah, maybe. I'm wondering about my next course of action, which way to go, when I find myself face to face with a man who's just come through the door I was about to push open. His face look is vaguely familiar. Is he perhaps the person who stole my case on the train in London? The man measures me up for a moment before saying in English and tinged with an Eastern European accent, Good evening, Alice. I see that you know who I am. I'm afraid I can't say the same. Jacob Novak, Knight of East and West, Distinguished Fellow of the Iron Kairos Lodge. Miss Lorenz warned us that you might pay us a visit. She left instructions for you to be escorted to her office. I have to tell you that I am authorized to use force if you make trouble, but you're not going to make any trouble, are you? Oh my lord. No, I'm not going to make trouble. Fine, after you. I won't make any trouble, I promise. Just as well, I wouldn't want to have to shake you up. I came to speak to Eva anyway. We take one corridor, then another, before entering a large office. Damn, she looks evil. Eva sits on the other side of the room, writing on a sheet of paper. The record is next to her on the desk. She stops writing. Ah, thank you, Jacob. I don't know what you hope to accomplish, Alice, but we spotted you while you were contemplating how to enter the building. I stay quiet. Nothing to say in your defense? Very well, then. To be perfectly frank, I've been expecting your visit. You've given us quite a hard time, you and your friend. What was his name? Ulysses. I turn to look at Jacob, who stands behind me. He looks away. Yes, that's it, Ulysses. Tell me, Alice, how did you find out that the headquarters of the lodge were in Prague? We generally manage to be inconspicuous, but it seems that nothing stops you. If we say Arthur Pullman, well, do you think she'll be lenient, or do you think she'll have Arthur killed? Maybe both. Don't snitch? Well, I'm thinking that if we do, she'll be lenient, because she, knows him. Right? They grew up, she grew up and, he was one of, her father's friends. Snitches get stitches? Oh my god. Liz is like, no. I'm like, I kind of want to be cooperative, right? To like get on her good side, and maybe she'll let me listen to the record and not have whatever the fuck happened happen. Nori threat. True, so true, coffee. As long as you can speedrun listening to it, that's what I'm thinking, right? I'm gonna snitch, I think. I don't trust her either, but I think that she would be more agreeable if we do. Arthur Pullman sends his regards. For a second, I see a flash of anger in her eyes. Oh, okay, never mind. But a moment later, she has regained her calm. Oh, my old Uncle Artie. Now that's a surprise. I confess we've completely lost touch with each other. Oh no, uh-oh, yeah. I haven't heard from him in years. He was so unworthy of receiving the grace of the Koros that our whole brotherhood was punished for his transgressions. Oh. After 13 long years of repentance and self-sacrifice, the Koros has finally been returned to us. Well, all families have their black sheep, do they not? Oh, they are like a real religious cult. That's like, oh, they're like, we were all punished, and by punished, we mean not having the record in our possession. They're like actually a religious cult. And they believe that like the record is their like god or whatever. Okay. It would seem that Eva has no idea of how Arthur took the record from them. She continues. Nevertheless, none of that concerns you, Alice. I don't know how familiar you are with the technicalities of our Brotherhood's mysteries, so I'm going to try to explain things simply and precisely to you. As you can imagine, I'm a very busy woman, and you haven't given us the best day to grace us with your presence. It has been brought to my attention that one of our brothers, Jacob Novak here, is responsible for the accident which cost your partner his life in the last emanation. I suppose that your presence here, as well as your renewed determination to steal the Koros from us, is certainly linked to this tragic death, is it not? I think we're going to get angry here, because all this shit would not have happened. We're gonna fucking die. I don't care. This is crazy. How can they speak of someone's life and death in such a detached way? I turn toward Jacob, ready to explode. How could you do it? What happened? Jacob lowers his eyes and murmurs, I'm sorry. The man seems genuinely devastated by the situation. It helps me to realize that I'll achieve nothing by letting myself get upset. So, when we changed the reality, this guy had killed him 3 years ago, and they just found out about it. Imagine being this guy! Holy shit, this guy just murdered someone, and he doesn't even remember it happening. That's crazy. That's fucked up. That's wild. Oh my god. That's reeling information. Eva continues to speak as I try to calm myself. Look, I understand your anger, and I assure you it was never our intention to cause your friend's death. In fact, if you'd allow us a chance to redeem ourselves, I have a proposition for you, Alice. You are a very resourceful young woman. You managed to throw our pants and escape us several times. You've already heard the chorus, which makes you, de facto, an honorary Grand Mistress in our organization. Join us. We'd be honored to count you as one of us. Huh? Wait. After all the enmity between us, after pursuing Ulysses for years, you're actually suggesting that I should join your organization. To be honest, most of all, I'm thinking of your capacity for causing trouble. Of course, if you accept, you will have access to the chorus as much as any other members who have reached the rank of master within the lodge. And if I refuse? And if you refuse, then I will ask Jacob to escort you to the door. I'm afraid we shall have to put up with your troublemaking capacities. Colt. I can feel Jacob becoming restless behind us. It would appear that Ava's attitude is making him uncomfortable. I take a minute to weigh up the pros and cons. Ava seems very sure of herself. She has the record and believes herself to be in control here. She doesn't appear to be aware of the danger she faces by letting me listen to the record again. With what Pullman told me, I could completely change the destiny of all the people in this room and give myself the best chance of Ulysses becoming alive once more. By doing that, I know there's a strong possibility that I'll find myself in a completely different reality from everything I'm familiar with. That's a risk I'm willing to take. On the one hand, of course, I could pretend to accept, but I mustn't seem too enthusiastic about it if I don't want to alert her suspicion. On the other, I should try to negotiate by promising to stop annoying them if she lets me listen to the record one last time. I think that in her desire to be generous, maybe she will accept my proposition, even if it's just to clear her conscience and that of the lodge. Eva patiently awaits my answer. Oh my god. So do we join the cult? Or do we just be like, hey, let me listen to it once, and we'll be good. I'll never bother you again. I'm not down to join a cult, not that one at least. Yeah, this one, crazy. Now, poison tasting. I'm kidding. Holy shit. I think we're just gonna be like, I will not bother you again if you let me listen to it once. Right, that's this option. For legal reasons, we are not a cult. I could pretend to accept. Yep, not a cult, smiley face. True. Yeah, I think it's this one. I'm sorry, I have no intention of joining your ranks. A shadow of anger sweeps across Ava's face. I have a counter proposal for you, however. Let me listen to the record today one last time, and I promise to leave you in peace. Ava glances at Jacob, who still stands behind me, and her expression changes from anger to doubt. As I'd hoped, the presence in the room of a member of the organization who feels responsible for the situation seems to play in my favor. I remain quiet, hoping she'll take the bait, which she finally does. Do you truly have your word that you won't try to contact the lodge again or try to steal the chorus from us if I let you hear it this evening? You have my word, truly. She allows herself some thinking time. All I wish for the lodge is that it should have peaceful ownership of the chorus once more. But in my role as the sovereign protector of Ion Kairos, I cannot go against the principles of our brotherhood. I know that Mr. Novak has been strongly affected by the accident which cost your friend his life. In order to ease his conscience, and for this reason alone, I am prepared to accept that you listen to the record one last time. In turn, I ask that you give me your word that I will never hear from you again after this evening. She's grand wizarding again. Holy, yeah, it's crazy. This is actually wild. Eva holds out her hand across the desk. I shake it. God, she looks so evil. I am so pleased we've been able to reach a mutual agreement. The lodge has detested violence since it began, as perhaps you know. He looks up at Jacob, who still stands behind me. I turn to him. Alice, I'm truly sorry for the accident which cost your friend his life. I sincerely hope that the Koros places in you an emanation in which you can find him again. What happened? What exactly happened? We thought he had the record. We confronted him to get it back. He tried to run. He was hit by a car. He was killed on the spot. It was more than 3 years ago, but I still think about it every day. Once again, I'm so sorry for what happened. Let's hope the record gives him back to me. Jacob lowers his head in agreement, then returns to his place at the end of the room, near the door. Eva checks her watch. Right, it's almost time. I'm going to have to get ready to host the council. Host the council. Holy shit. Jake will accompany you to the prayer room. Given the somewhat strange circumstance of your presence here, you'll hear the chorus at the very end of the ceremony. It has been 13 years since we had a new inductee in the Brotherhood. I hope you will be able to respect our rights. I'm counting on your sense of decency and on your discretion. I nod. Very well, I thank you in advance. Mr. Novak, if you would accompany our guests to the prayer room. Eva picks up the record and her notes and leaves the room. Jacob and I follow her out. Oh, okay, well, that's not what I was expecting. Uh, uh, I did not realize that, uh, cult prayer would involve topless women. The prayer room is situated on the ground floor. It's a long rectangular room with a checkerboard marble floor. Base, but also, huh? Yeah. I'm gonna be so real. This is more art than Braun. Yeah, I don't think that YouTube would take it down, but I'm gonna get past this scene particularly, or maybe you know what? Maybe you know what I can do. Here, I can do this. 1 second. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. There. I think that should probably cover it all. Hopefully, it's like the bot. It's like here. Okay, let's try this. That way you can hear the weird whispering and crackling as well. There. There you go. Rotund Nori hours. Listen, I'm always rotund. The room doesn't look as if it's been removed from in the last 20 years, which would lead one to suppose that Ernst Lorenz had, in fact, bought a former Masonic temple at the moment the Iron Curtain fell. Probably aiming to cover up the true allegiance of the Iron Kairos Lodge, or rather, its lack of allegiance. The assembly must number around 30 people, gathered into 2 groups on either side of the room, leaving the central aisle free. Yeah, even if I move, you can't see them. Okay. A few minutes of silence, mingled with some whispering around the room, Ava makes her entrance. Okay, they have changed scenes. Let me shrink myself again. I don't know how big I was. This? That seems about right. If I move to the right, move to the left. Sure. I think I'm a little off. I think I'm a little too big. That. There you go. Try that. She walks with a measured step to the other side of the room, mounts a platform there, and addresses the assembly in a strong, clear voice. My very honored brothers and sisters, I must thank you for coming so numerous, and for some so far in such a short time. Would not have convoked you to this exceptional council if I didn't have excellent news. Oh, okay, never mind. I lied. Don't mind me. What the fuck, game? Why are they naked? Why do they have to be naked? It's about music. Since the death of our sovereign protector, Ernst Lorenz, we have moved heaven and earth to find it. Today it gives me great joy to tell you that the Koros has finally been returned to us. After a long crossing of the desert, the Ion Kairos Lodge will finally be reborn. All of you here, the most loyal, who have kept faith in the Brotherhood, in the teachings of my father, and my government as the second sovereign protector. All of you will be rewarded when your time comes by the knowledge of the Koros. He holds out a hand toward us. For this first ceremony in 13 years, we have two beneficiaries. Our brother Jacob, who joined the lodge a little over 10 years ago, and our brother Alexander, who represents the new blood of our organization. Both have been instrumental in the recuperation of the Koros, and the Grand Council has decided to reward them for their devotion to our cause. They will thus be the first to be liberated from the false world and rise above the chaos of the multiple emanations of the physical reality. Okay, so their cult basically believes that only the reality before the first listening to the Koros is the real one, and everything after that has changed it to be a fake world. Okay, I'm gonna move back to my corner, but I do not trust that this is still chill. Jacob stands up, approaches Eva, genuflects, then goes to sit on the throne. I mean, it might be true at this point, maybe. Who knows? I can get off screen here. Give me 1 second, let me do this. Eva places the record on the turntable while Jacob removes his cape and puts the headphone over his ears. Brother Jacob, are you ready to no longer be the slave of the false creator? Take yourself from the emanations of the false world and receive the light of knowledge. Yes, Sovereign Protector. Eva switches on the turntable. The room fills with sparkling reflections. Then, when the needle of the turntable reaches the central groove, everything returns to normal. Jacob takes the headphones from his ears. There's something subtly different about him. Perhaps his stubble is less closely shaved, or maybe it's his hair, which is slightly less peppered with gray. And then Never Gonna Give You Up plays, and this was an elaborate ritual. True! Or maybe it's something in his posture. The assembly applauds, and as he rises and goes to sit on the left of the stage with the two people who wear the purple capes. I think those people are naked, but they're too blocky for me to cover them up. The ritual repeats itself with for my other neighbor, Alexander. Once again, the strange shimmering in the air, which stops when the record ends. It's Alexander's turn to go and sit on the left, next to the initiates, then Eva speaks again. As is the custom, I will take my turn to hear the Koros. As Sovereign Protector of the Iron Kairos Lodge, my role is to perpetuate our community, to make it grow. That is why I'm going to make myself place the lodge in the most propitious of available emanation, as the great masters present here will testify on my return. Oh my god. So she listens to it to fucking, like, boost her, like, the status of the cult? That's crazy. Eva sits, puts the headphones on, and starts the record. For the third time, the air begins to vibrate with glittering particles. This time, the room also seems to change. Heavy velvet drapes appear on the walls, the furniture becomes more opulent. I'm gonna wish for $1 million every week type shit. Literally the truth. When the record ends, the assembly applaud, and the room, which was half empty, is now full, suddenly holding a multitude of new caped initiates. Oh my god. Literally, it's like, I'm gonna wish for $1,000,000 every week. It's literally that. For the first time, I am fully conscious of the danger the record represents put in the wrong hands. There's no consent, though. Literally true. Well, maybe. Maybe there's consent in that they went to the past and consented to agreeing to join the cult, but that doesn't change the fact that these people that did consent to this reality don't remember the old reality. Like, that's the no consent part, which is crazy. This is so fucked up. If Eva is ambitious as Arthur Pullman believes, the Iron Kairos Lodge could quickly concentrate so much wealth and influence that she would become uncontrollable. Yeah, they still got robbed of their old lives. Yeah. And the worst part is that they don't know that they got robbed of their old lives. Which means that they could have, like, if given the choice, they might still choose their old lives if they don't join the cult, right? She lays the headphones on the table, and I notice that her hair has grown, intensifying the air of a great pagan priestess. Before closing this council, I would like one last person to hear the chorus. We have among us this evening the previous guardian of the record, who lost someone dear to her heart in a previous emanation. The Board of Masters and myself, Sovereign Protector of the Iron Kairos Lodge, have decided, in our benevolence and a gesture of peace and harmony, to authorize this person to control the emanations one last time. This cult does not believe in consent, making a child hear 7 times is crazy. Yeah. Yup. In return, she has promised to no longer meddle in the affairs of our brotherhood and to keep herself, sub rosa, the mysteries she has observed. Eva gestures me to approach. Alice, if you would take your place. I sit on the throne, place the headphones over my ears, and I start the record. The guitar note pierces the air. I wonder if it's going to be the same song, but like creepy this time. Almost feedback. The eyes of the assembly are fixed on me. Sparkling reflections emerge. I look at Eva one last time. She stares back, impassive. The light twists and knots. I turn my gaze inward, searching for Ulysses.
In spring we met, in the fall we came undone. I am for the middle of the road, summer of our love. Sunset over the roofs, stars shimmering like mirages. The golden hour, the right time, the time to put the record clean, the time to bring you back from the mists of oblivion. A new emanation. I put the headphones down as you enter the room. Sun to my moon.
I wonder if we're going to try to listen to it again like Arthur Pullman did and like fuck everything up, or if we're going to try and break the record or what. Alice? Ulysses comes to the room as the record I'm listening to ends. I remember this moment. What I hadn't noticed the first time I lived in this moment was the record that he has under his arm. A 7-inch with a white sleeve. I thought you were going out this evening. He walks over to me, bends down to my height, and plants a kiss on my lips. His hands tremble slightly. He seems shaken. Nah, we're getting to the point with this one. Ulysses, I don't have much time and I have a lot to tell you. Ulysses backs off and looks at me, concerned. What do you mean? What is it, Alice? I point at the record which he has laid on the coffee table. Have you listened to it? Yes, I just bought it. It was part of a batch of psychedelic, a big collector by the bay. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had. But, how do you know about the record? It's an acetate, probably unique. You'll say, what I'm going to tell you is going to be hard to believe, but I'm going to ask you to trust me. Lucy nods and replies without hesitation. Of course, Alice, tell me. We are being so honest here. I've come from the future, Ulysses. This record allows you to change your past when you listen to it. In this future, you're dead because of this record. Alice, you're scaring me. I'm very serious. My time here, in this moment, is limited. It's vital that I listen to the record before I get sent back to the present to avoid the future I come from happens again. I'm going to ask you to promise me one thing. When I've finished listening to the record, you take it and you disappear. I disappear? Leave Bordeaux. Don't try to learn more about the record. Just keep it in a safe place, please. It's the only way, Ulysses. I'm sorry. With a bit of luck, I'll still have the memory of the future after I listen to the record, in which case I'll tell you everything. But if I don't, I'm going to ask you trust me. I take the record from the coffee table and put it in a place on the turntable. I pick up the headphones, and before putting them over my ears, I glance at Ulysses one last time. I mean, I don't even know how to feel about this. How can we give him a sign of reflection? He fucked up our life, but also he's been gone for 3 years? Like, I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm just gonna say something to reassure him. I'm 4 years in the future. I'll find you again, I promise. I sit by the record player and prepare to put on the headphones. Alice, wait, please. I pause. You know you have all my love and trust, but do you realize what you're asking of me? A sigh escapes me. Ulysses, I'd like to have the time to tell you more, to tell you everything. My consciousness could leave this moment in our past at any moment, and if I haven't listened to the record before that, it would be a catastrophe. Ulysses watches me with bewilderment as I finish putting on the headphones. Unless it's sadness, or simply affection? I hesitate for an instant as I pick up the tone arm before I remind myself that I have no choice. I don't have the right to hesitate, nor to change my mind. I don't want to let Eva have the record. I want to make it as likely as possible that Ulysses will still be alive in my new present. Even if it's at the expense of my reality. Of my identity. I take a deep breath, then, with renewed determination, I place the needle in the groove. The music hits me and engulfs me like a wave of sound. The living room of our little apartment gleams as though filled with underwater sunlight. The air vibrates with the sonic surf which submerges my consciousness. I'm carried away on the tide of the last rays of sunset, as the last rays of sunset vanish behind the Bordeaux rooftops.
A sonic wave engulfs me as I drown in the mists of oblivion. I sacrifice my whole self on the altar of your survival. Lost and found, my soul is torn in pieces until nothing remains. My old self is lost. I'm laid bare before the creation. Someone is by side.
Oh, it's Patrizia.
My affection to share the days, to share the nights of my new reality.
Wait, what? In this life, we're... Whoa! What? We can choose to, like, be with Patrizia in this new life? Do we even want that? We don't know her. We, like, slept with her for, like, a day. And, like, that was it, because we just, like, happened to meet her. You know what I'm saying? The records that make you gay? True. Yuri? Yeah. Do we choose Yuri? I mean, I kind of want to. But also, what the fuck happens if I say no? Like... Arthur was with a guy when he came back. That's true. That is true. When he listened to the record within the record, he was gay. If we listen to the record in the record and become gay, Miss Yuri, it's hard to say no. It's really hard to say no. But then, what happens to Ulysses? Does he have the record still? Inceptioning the record makes you gay? That's what I'm learning here. Like, if we say no, there's the possibility that we'll get our hands on the record and be able to destroy it. And if we say yes, we don't know that that's necessarily the case, right? But also, if we say no, that also might not necessarily be the case. I would say maybe don't, because I wouldn't want to involve her. Yeah, I don't know what, like, her life would be. Like, we know kind of what her life looks like without us in it. And she's leading, like, a fine life. Like, we're just kind of, like, inserting ourselves into her life. And, like, we know that she, like, finds us attractive, but we don't know that she, like, likes us, you know? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to say no. Just, like, I'm kind of with you, Wiz. I don't think we should be with anyone. I don't even think we should be with our ex, Ulysses. Unless it gets us to the record and we can fucking destroy it. We need to destroy it. That's the most important thing. But also Yuri. I think I'm gonna say no. I think I'm gonna say no. So it wouldn't be that bad. But, like, I think that if we were to say yes, I think she would end up liking us, but she isn't getting a say in that, you know what I'm saying? That's the part I think this fucks me up, is like, we would be creating a new life for her without her knowing either life, you know? She would only know the one. Yeah, it sounds super icky. It does. It's like, the more I think about it, the less I'm like, this is okay. I think I'm gonna say no.
A hand toward me from the shadow of you. I turn away, your image dissolves. As I drift the other way, the wave crashes on the shore of this alien world, a new emanation. And as the sun retreats, I see what I've become. I slip into her like in love. The old Alice is lost, nowhere to be found. I embrace my new destiny.
We have green hair now. Okay. I'm folding the last of the clothes in the fitting room when the doorbell rings. Samira gestures me not to move. Whoever that is. I'll go. 6 months. 6 months have passed since Prague. Life has resumed its course. At least another life. In this life, I work in a clothes store in St. Ouen, near the market. We sell quite a lot of vintage, small designers, and it shows in my own style a lot. Nicest part of living in Paris, enjoying the concerts and exhibitions to the full. Samira accepts our last customer of the morning to the door and comes back to me. It's after 12, shall we go get some lunch? Okay, but I'm having lunch with Patricia today. Didn't I say no? Oh, yes, that's true. It's Friday already. You can join us if you want. No, that's kind of you, but I'm going to get a sandwich at Mustafa's. Okay. I let Samira out, lock the door, and then go up the street to the Jules Vallée market, while Samira heads down to the Kleber. Kleber? Kleber? The weather is pleasant, late spring has finally settled in the capital, and it warms the streets with revitalizing rays of sunshine after months of gray, rainy weather. Hi, Rain! Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day. So I loiter a little, looking in the windows. I'd summarize for you, but it's a lot. Also, I think we got the Yuri ending anyways, even though we said no to it. Patrizia beams when she sees me arriving at her pitch. Buongiorno, Alice. How are you? Peachy, and you? Fine, it's pretty quiet today. In that case, why don't we go and eat at the Café du Commerce? What do you think? Good idea. I'll ask Pierre to keep an eye on my stall while I'm gone. Don't move. She takes a few steps towards pitch 73, the bookseller's pitch, before stopping and coming back to her stall. She takes a postcard from above the counter and holds it out to me. You had some mail arrive here. Oh, really? She shrugs. I look at the missive. It's a postcard sent from Greece. Ancient ruins overlooking a turquoise sea captioned Mykonos. I turn it over and instantly recognize Ulysses' disjointed handwriting. Alice, you said we'd see each other in 4 years. Do you remember? I'm in Mykonos. Can you meet me there? Ulysses. Beneath the signature, there's a telephone number. My heart pounds. After so long, I'd given up on the record, on Ulysses, and all the rest. What was waiting for me there? How do you act when I saw him again, finally, after all these years? I've got no idea. I knew that I have to go, even if it's just to turn the page on my own life. I hadn't noticed that Patrizia is already back. So what is it? I guess I'm off for a trip to Greece. Epilogue. I don't know what that says. The lane that climbs up to the village is steep. The bus dropped me off at the bottom, at the junction with the main road. So we're just friends with her? I'm not sure, maybe. Who knows? I genuinely have no idea. It was like friendly, and maybe not Yuri, but also maybe... I don't know. Who knows? This game's confusing. The glaring light of the June sun cast the terrain of the island into stark relief, and the last few hundred yards left for me to traverse seemed almost monumental to my eyes. I stopped for a while in the shade of an olive tree. The white plastered houses are sharply etched against the ultramarine of the Greek sky. The place is absolute, punctuated only by the cry of seagulls and the buzzing of insects. I start to climb again. The main street leads to a shady little square. On the northern side, a cafe with an awning. I go over. Oh, really? A time-traveling, reality-bending music record is confusing? Nah. It's crystal clear. On the left, a group of old men sit around a table playing cards, cigarettes hanging from the corners of their mouths. On the right, a young woman drinks her coffee as she reads the local paper. Further away, at the back, Ulysses watches me arrive. I walk over to him, trying to control the galloping of my heart. I'm not sure how I should behave, how I should greet him after all this time. I'm just gonna take a seat, I think. I don't know. Rather than making a gesture that could be misinterpreted, I decide to simply sit down facing him. Ulysses looks at me, for a long time staring into my eyes. Is it weariness? Sadness? Or is it on the contrary affection, an affection which has survived all the ordeals? I really don't know. I need closure with this Ulysses, this man who I used to know like the back of my hand. I need to face the fact that we have become different people. Not knowing what to say, I smile shyly. He smiles back at me, and relenting, he breaks the silence. Alice. and it's my turn to acknowledge him, to affirm I know who he is, as he's done for me. Ulysses, thank you for coming. He raised his hand to attract the attention of the waiter near our table. A few minutes later, they bring us a bottle of Rocky, I don't know what that is, and a carafe of ice water. Ulysses takes a mouthful and lets out a long sigh. I don't know where to begin. I've dreamed of this moment for so long when we finally find each other after all our wanderings. And now, when you're finally here, right in front of me, I can't find the words. Yeah, me too. I understand. After all these years, it's difficult for me too. Ulysses laughs. Tell me, Alice, what's your life like? You seem different, and yet I also get the sense of finding you again. I don't know if what I'm saying makes the least bit of sense. So tell me, are you happy in this reality? I mean, I don't know. We seem happy, right? We run a clothing store in Paris? I have no idea if we're happy in this life. We have a roommate? I don't know. A very close female friend? Does Nori know? Nori has no idea. I think it's likely that Alice knows. And they were roommates? Yeah. I think I'm going to say yes. I think Alice is probably happy. Even if I don't know. I think over it before I reply. Yes. I think I'm happy. In any case, happier than I was. I promise I did everything I could to spare you. I sacrificed our relationship so that you could be free of the record, but in the end, it didn't work. What do you mean you sacrificed our relationship? Lucy takes a deep breath. In the original reality, we were together. We were happy. You were in a band, and you helped market me in the store when you could. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure that stuff happened, and we were together. I tense up as I realize what Ulysses is telling me. Somewhere deep down, I had already suspected this. I decided not to run up to let him go on. That damned record came into our lives and turned everything upside down. We wanted to understand what it was, where it came from. We followed up the leads together. First Paris, then the commune in Bavaria. We were in London when it happened. We were planning to go up the Boleskine to meet Arthur Pullman. That's where the Iron Kairos Lodge caught up with us. I was scared. I wanted to protect you. I'm back into the past and changed reality. I put you somewhere safe in a world where you never heard of the record. Yeah, see? And that's when we met Jean-Baptiste. I get it, Ulysses. The record, it corrupts everything it touches. I could have easily made the same decision as you. I know now, Alice, it was a mistake. Madness. I'd realized straight after I'd done it. I hated myself. I wish I hadn't done it. The lodge was still after me. It changed nothing. What happened after that? I abandoned the idea of going up to Boleskine. I thought the lodge knew that was our next destination. I was almost sure I would be intercepted by Eva or one of her fanatics. I backtracked to Paris. When I realized they were still on my heels, I sent the record to you in Bordeaux to prevent it being stolen. And sure enough, my intuition is right. They tried to steal it that very night. I waited a few days for them to let their guard down a bit, then I took a train for Bordeaux, where I discovered that you were gone. I started to track you down, first Paris, then London. Each time I missed you by 1 or 2 days. Then, there was a void, a sensation of drowning in the nothingness of the cosmos. It seemed to last an eternity, or perhaps a second. That's when he was dead. I don't really know what happened. When I regained consciousness, I was here in my Konos with the record in my suitcase and the vague memory of a precise moment in the past when you arranged to meet me in 4 years. What did you do after that? It took me some time to find my feet. I was at the other end of Europe. I tried to understand what had brought me here. Then I tried to find you, and then it wasn't a mean feat from my Konos with my limited finances. You got my postcard, I got your phone call, and now here we are. Right, now it's your turn to tell me. I've got a feeling that your adventures have been even more exciting. I take a breath and tell him everything from the beginning all in one go. Bordeaux, Jean-Baptiste, who I hadn't thought of in months, the record, Paris, then London, in Glasgow, listening to the record again, Arthur Pullman, discovering Ulysses' death in the new reality, Prague, finally my new life. He listens carefully, without interrupting, as the sun descends little by little toward the sea, lengthening the shadows beneath the awning. Then I stop talking. Ulysses takes a minute to take on board all this new information. So I was dead, and you brought me back to life by changing the past. Yes. Now I understand the sensation of emptiness, which I had the trouble shaking off when I woke up here in Greece. By the way, you haven't told me why you asked me to meet you here specifically. Wouldn't it have simply been simpler to meet in Athens, or at least near an airport? Ulysses gives me the roguish smile. There's something I wanted to show you. Come on. He stands up, picks up his fat hiker's backpack, which leans against our table leg, slips it on, and he digs a few coins from his pocket and drops them on the table to pay for our drinks. We cross the village in silence. Yeah, there's a cute kitty cat. And go down the road toward the coast. After several hundred yards, we reach the site of an archaeological dig. Part of the excavation site has been covered with tarpaulins. Other parts suggest the remains of an ancient temple, which would have been built here a few millennia ago. Apparently, the site was only recently discovered. The dig has been halted because of budget cuts, so we're quite a long way from the tourist zone, so it would seem the authorities haven't taken the trouble to close off the area to the public. Come on. Ulysses beckons me to follow him. We go around the excavation zone, then retrace our steps on the other side. Behind us, the sea sparkles below. From this point of view, we can see the frontispiece stones which have been unearthed, which display some astonishing carvings. The right side is missing, but on the left side we can make out a chimera, half woman, half eagle, which appears to guard a central part, which depicts a kind of music box, its shape almost anachronistic. Did you know that at the start in mythology, the sirens weren't fish women, but birds with the torso and face of a woman? I turn to Ulysses. Which means that? He smiles at me. Yes. When you told me to flee 4 years ago, it would seem that I decided to go in search of the origins of the record. But not the origins of our plastic disc, the true origins. And it brought me here. To this mysterious temple which appears to pose a real puzzle to the archaeologists and historians who have studied its history, according to the information I've been able to gather. It's the place of a very ancient Gnostic sect, and our record is the result of the rediscovery of an ancient knowledge which would have first been found here. Are you familiar with the discography of Magma? No. No, it doesn't ring a bell, sorry. They're a French rock band who had their 15 minutes of fame at the beginning of the 70s. Is it Enzo's band? Kind of in the same movement of Soft Machine and the Canterbury scene, I guess, with a music that's both arty and pretty crazy. Okay, but what has that got to do with us? I'm getting to it. Christian Vander, the drummer and brains of the band, invented a language, Albanian, which most of the lyrics are written in. The goal of the language was to express emotions in a profoundly musical form. For example, if you stub your toe on a corner table, you wouldn't say, "Ouch, I hurt myself," but instead you'd scream in pain. Okay, I see the idea, it's entertaining, but I still don't see what you're getting at. In this language, there's a particular term. Zeu. I raise a skeptical eyebrow. Zeu? Yes. What Vander wanted to convey with the term is the idea of the perfect note at the perfect moment. A kind of musical ecstasy which allows us, human beings, to glimpse into an instant of the divine. Ulysses puts his backpack at his feet and opens it. He takes out a 17-inch record in a familiar white sleeve. He looks at it for a minute, his expression unwrinkled, then he adds, "I believe that this record, the music of the spheres, is the culmination of this quest for the absolute." He holds out the record to me. I take it. I've kept it safe until I found you again, Alice. It's out of the question for me to play it again. This record stole my life. Our life. It stole the woman I love from me. Ulysses looks at me with a wild intensity. He takes off his glasses to wipe away the tear which trickles down his cheek. I know that you're not still her, the woman I loved from the very depths of my heart, Alice. And I know that I'm probably not me either, the man I was when we were happy together. Lucy puts his backpack down again and takes out a little travel record player. He puts it down next to his pack and he pulls out a pair of headphones, which he places on the cover of the pause. No shot, dude. Absolutely not. There's no way. I refuse. It seemed appropriate to me that our story should be finished in the place where the story's record story began. Ulysses turns toward the sea, toward the horizon. Do what you want, Alice. I put it in your hands. There's no fucking way that we would ever listen to this piece of shit ever again. I refuse. Staunchly refuse. Holy shit. And he takes a few steps away toward the coast below. I take the record from his sleeve and hold it between my hands, undecided. At least he gives you the choice. He's a nice dude. Yeah, absolutely. I commend him for that. I definitely don't think that we would ever listen to it, though. I'm like, there's no way. Why? We have a nice life. It seems like he has a decent life here in Greece. Like, I just like can't imagine a scenario in which we ever choose to listen to it. Nah, I said this frame 1, 2. Yeah, for sure. That's crazy. I'm destroying it. I place the record on the ground, and with one thrust of my heel, I shatter it. No divine justice strikes me down. Just the golden light of the setting sun over the Aegean. Ilse has not turned back. He continues to look out to the sea. Behind me, the lane leads back toward the village, toward the city, toward my life. Before me, Ulysses. Perhaps the rebirth of a destiny in shreds. Or at least the promise of something like it. Oh, this is a different choice. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really want to join him or whatever that implies. I just kind of want to leave. Like, I get that we were together, and I get that we, like, went through a bunch of stuff together from his perspective, but we didn't experience that. Like, neither as Alice or as the player, because he listened to the record. Like, which set us on the Jean Baptiste life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think I'm just gonna leave. I can't do this anymore, man. I can't do this anymore. I joined the lane toward the village, without looking back, leaving them there, where they've fallen, the remains of the record and my former life. I don't know if Ulysses has seen that I'm going, but he doesn't try to stop me. As the first stars light up in the sky, my mind travels to the rhythm of a strange and intimate melody. Probably likes him still and he isn't a bad dude, but yeah, it's a bit yikes. Yeah, I think the best thing to do, because there's no way to know what the hell has happened. Like, we only have what we experienced as a player. And like, I think from what I've experienced, I think I just want to go back to like I would want to just go back to living. Like, from his perspective, I don't know. I can't. I can't.
I've been wondering, I've seen the world mutate and change explored the permutation of realities in search of him, in search
What a very
of
French game.
me. And there I was
Who's this guy?
in hope that someone else is that
I think this is probably the guy that we might have been. The guy that we almost could have dated.
And that's me in the infinities of the real, in the colorless emanations of the ever-changing world of creation.
I have no idea who these people are.
Eyes kids around, different paths leading into different presents, different tracks on the playlist of my life. That's where I found myself waiting inside of this void that slumbers across the
Ayo, name drop. Achievement unlocked postcard. Achievement unlocked pop art. Achievement unlocked bohemian life. Achievement unlocked assured taste. Achievement heart Lonely Hearts Club Band, in which we do not date anyone, which I think is fine for this reality. Achievement unlocked Crossroads. Unlocked Acid Trip. That's where we talk to Enzo. And we got the books. We learned about his life, the hermit. We met the Mayfair Motor Club. We met Penny. We met these people and we talked to them for 2 seconds. Achievement unlocked Full Circle. Okay. I mean, I guess that's that. Oh, we got like the flower ending, I guess? It's probably the choice. Yeah, it is. Like, you can see that we have the top, middle. Like, we got like the flower ending. There's 2 flower endings. Oh, we got the it's flower lightning ending. As opposed to flower spiral or lightning skull. Like there's like 4 different endings and it's based on like the combination of the things. Okay. Well. Damn. That's crazy. Oh, there's a scenario where you get mugged? Holy shit. Okay, well. I mean, that's that. Okay, a couple things. One, if you are ever writing a story, never introduce time travel. Holy shit, is time travel messy. Which is why I'm running an entire campaign predicated on time travel. Not really. It's based on time stopping. Even it's a super fuck scenario. But also, oh my lord. This game was fantastic. For the record, I think this game was awesome. It was super unique. Every the methodology of the whole story is very unique and compelling. I found myself constantly wanting to find out more, and to find out like what had happened and where this life was going and like where we would wind up. Um, I feel really like I would like to know. Like, I have a bunch of questions that will never get answered because they're not part of the game. But, like, in this reality, where is Ion Kairos? Like, we never investigated them. They never found Ulysses or I. Which means they're still pursuing the record and they will never know that it's destroyed. I don't know. I assume they still exist and hate you. Well, they don't know about us, right? They never found us again. I would love to get a scene where, post this, we write a letter to Arthur Pullman and be like, it just says, I destroyed the record. And bro reads it, it's him reading it, he's like, oh, well that's neat. I don't remember who you are, but thanks. I assume something like that could happen. I don't plan on playing this game again, but I am very curious to see what other kind of, like, paths you could choose. But I think I'm very glad for where I wound up. Or at least Eva always knows about the records. Yeah, I'm not really sure how the fuck that works. We don't really understand how Eva and Ion Kairos, like, never are unassociated with the record, or why they, like, they always know where it winds up. But why didn't they find Ulysses? Like, who knows? Who knows? That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. But anyway, I thought this game was a lot of fun. It's very clear to me that you can make tons of different decisions that greatly affect your outcomes. I think if your life gets affected by the record, you now exist separate from it. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? But it's a fantastic game, and I would encourage people to play it themselves if they want to find out where their path takes them. Like, everyone listen to it keep their memories. Yeah, but you don't necessarily keep your memories of choices other people make, right? No, we know that you do keep your memories, because even Ulysses had the memories of his death, right? But you don't get your memories of other realities? Wait, that's inconsistent, right? Because we never got our memories of, like, us living in London, but Ulysses got his memories of his death? Like, that doesn't make sense, right? Like, those two things are contradictory. Like, he shouldn't remember that he died, or the experience of death. Much in the same way that we don't remember, like, having lived in London at all. I don't know. It's not confusing at all. Time travel's not confusing at all. Only remember the time you existed, but he was dead. He shouldn't remember being dead, right? I don't think he knew he would dead. No, he said that he understood that, like, the void feeling that he had was death. I don't know. I don't want. This is hurting my brain. It's late. We're gonna call it here. I'm just gonna. We're just gonna move along. Yeah, because he was living his life while also being. Wiz, I want you to read the sentence that you just typed out loud to yourself. What the fuck does that mean? Oh, lordy. In another reality, I mean. But I mean, maybe. That reality doesn't exist for us, though. So, I don't know. I really, really don't know. Okay, whatever you do, if you do get this game, do not... Do not look at the achievements. They are very spoilery. This game should be called Across the Retcon. True! Your amazing background noises will lose my sanity. Scar, I hope your thing is working out eventually. It sounds like it's not going well. I mean, what circuitry works well the first time? No, it never does. Like, I get that. I have been in those shoes a million times. But I hope it does work out in the end. May just be a fuck it doesn't work until I get the right chip. That's a very real possibility, unfortunately. Oh my god. I'm looking at these achievements and they're like... They're crazy. Anyways. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you a lot. This game is very, very good. And I encourage you all to try it out in your own time. It's very short, you know. We did it in, 7 hours, basically. How much is it? It was very fun. It was cheap, too, if I remember right. It's like $10. Yeah, it's like $10. But, in any case, I appreciate you all a ton. I hope you had a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me on this journey, as we time traveled multiple times. So, I will see you all on Thursday for more Silk Song. We'll be fighting the Ant Queen, the gorgeous woman, uh, Ka- Katarina, I think her name is, Scar Singer Katarina. Um, and I think we're gonna do some side quests before we like wrap up the game. So Carmelita, that's right. Thank you. That's where we're at. Um, gorgeous woman indeed. She's so gorgeous. She's so pretty. So I will catch you guys then. Until then, I hope you all have wonderful days and wonderful evenings, and I will see you when I see you. So, good night, good night, good night. Bye bye, bye bye. Scoutlet love forever and ever. You all are super, super wonderful. Good night.